Hey guys, welcome to episode 192 of 4PlayerAnimecast. I am your host Spire, and we are finally at the end of our winter 2022. Oh, I'm gonna admit I'm gonna mess that up a lot of times during this year. Winter 2022 reviews for the anime lineup. So we're gonna so this is our final review. After this, we're gonna do our preview show for our spring 2022 season, and then we're gonna jump right into it. So that should line up pretty perfectly because most series right now, I believe, are in their episodes 10s and 11s, I believe. So, preview should be just before the spring anime hits, and then we'll jump right in. But yeah, anyways, uh, you know, how is everybody doing? I am here with my compatriots Near,
Hi.
Toast,
Hello.
and Dark.
Hello.
All right, well, let's get right into it. Past 2 weeks, how have you been, Dark?
I more Elden Ring
Hey,
off.
yeah, I mean,
Why not?
yes, yes, because
You beat
it's
Elden Ring and it's time to play more Elden Ring.
yeah, exactly.
got been mauling at Apex quite a bit. So that. Um and then tried playing Stranger of Paradise and that game runs like ass. So I did not do that. Um Big shame that on PC it just is bad. So hopefully that gets fixed. And just as recently as hours ago, I started playing Fortnite.
Going
Cause
back to the classics.
yeah, because I mean, they removed building
Oh
in
my
the
god!
base. The
Wait,
like
really?
normals. Yeah, ranked is the
Yeah,
only one that has building right now.
it's the new season's gimmick, I guess. I don't really
Yeah,
know.
it's like
Like
you
they
don't have
they took out
building, but
building.
yeah,
Is
so
this
you
gonna
have
be
like
like a thing
a,
going forward? Is my
Probably
question.
not. It's
I
probably just gonna be a
probably
temporary
not.
gimmick.
Wish it was.
Okay.
I mean,
Unless
I guarantee
they're
you.
using it to like test even more reduced building, which
I mean,
is
even if it was the intention of like, yeah, this is what it's going to be going forward. I
Uh-huh.
guarantee you, the Zoomers and fucking kids that like they've spent fucking hours like learning how to build a fucking tower within the span of a blink of an eye. Like they are
yeah, I'm
going
gonna
to
correct you
chimp
on
out.
that. The kids that tried spending hours learning how to build a tower and then realizing you just fucking macro your inputs and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah. Don't
Yeah.
most people have a macro for that?
Yep.
Yes, people
But
have plenty of build macros.
Is that
but yeah.
tournament legal, by the way? The macro stuff? I
I
don't even know.
don't
I have no
think
idea.
so, but
Probably
Okay.
not. But
wouldn't be surprised
but
if it
yeah,
gets snuck in there.
like those kids which is a absolutely fucking massive like chunk of Fortnite's player base, like they're gonna chimp out. And like even if it was their intent to actually remove building, tone down on building, they're probably gonna revert it like that is. But I feel like it's just a temporary gimmick.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean it definitely is because they say like, oh, we need to get building back, but I'm hoping they bring it back in like some fucked up way. It's, it's actually very fun when you have to rely on movement and shooting people instead
Well,
of
now it's just a
you know
regular battle royale, but more like with like it
crazy
has the
fucking
mobility. Yeah, it has the
yeah. It's got like yeah. So what I was thinking is just like it has really good mobility. Problem is that there's like um their stamina is pretty low, all things
Mhm,
considered. So like would be better if they like straight up were like removed stamina or something.
mhm.
But we'll see with
Oh yeah,
that.
that's true.
Yeah,
All
because
right.
like if you could just sprint forever and shit. There's like vehicles now though too. Like I got in a tank at one point and was like just mowing down people. I
Yeah,
feel
So
like
there's new
so
even
so they're
even
vehicles.
so
with
they're
building
essentially, are they just turning it
might
back
be
into
fucked
like a
up.
PUBG or something like that? But it's like with freaking, you know what I mean? It's like, but
Yeah,
with
I don't know. I don't know what they're like, what they were trying to do. The vehicles and stuff have been around for a very long time. I know that.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure. But
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
so
it would be cool if they left it out.
all right.
Something.
Well, anything else?
Yeah, I've been keeping up with stuff, and Bisco keeps getting better and better every week. Season
Wait, but
3,
YouTube's been telling me it's all
Bro,
Fiscal is about is just about the
that's
boobs.
just an edgy anime,
boo.
bro.
Yeah. It's just about the boobs, bro.
Pretty
That's all I
awesome.
see on
You
the videos.
know,
Dude,
on
boobs, dude.
as shitty as it is right now, though, is my follow-up was going to be
Uh,
good love hotel bit this. So there was
yeah.
that. Um, yeah, I don't know. That show is also just gorgeous. So there's,
Mm.
but yeah. Other than that, Takagi-san season 3 has us
The
as
classic.
usual. The entire season's been spoiling us because it's had probably like every season, only the final few episodes ever had like character progression, as
Hmm.
I guess you could say, like with their
Well, the
relationship and
series
shit.
isn't really supposed to have that much character progression to begin with, in a sense. It's like
Yeah,
that's
which I
purposeful. Yeah.
guess this season, though, for some reason, has been like all progression, no stops. Like,
Hmm.
so that's been really crazy. Um, trying to think what else though. Oh yeah, and then I started and got to episode 5 of Akebi-chan, talking
Nice.
about that.
All right. So pretty busy 2 weeks for you, and thank you for sharing it with us. What about you, Near?
Um, so I resubscribed to Final Fantasy 14. Um, we're back to raiding. Because our group took a bit of a break for about a month, I guess, because
Mm.
some people in the group were moving, um, and they had some internet issues with that. Because I guess American internet infrastructure is just so fantastic that like you move
Takes like
into
weeks to get
yeah when you
internet
move
when you
into a new
move. Yeah,
place it
it's pretty cool.
takes like yeah
Also, all the
almost a
internet
month.
always costs like at least $60+.
Yeah. But
That's
yeah, we're back to
shitty.
that. So um we got back into the swing of things. We started progressing the fourth fight in the tier P4. Um and we beat the door boss, which is pretty cool. The door boss sucks. It's kind of annoying. But the actual like fight proper um is really fun. It's probably the best fight in the tier, I'd say. Um but yeah, so we've been doing that. It's been fun. Other than that,
Don't think P3 is fighting the tier.
no, I think P3 is fucking horrendous. It's a fucking awful fight.
I can't
But yeah,
imagine
other than
why.
that, just keeping up with fucking gotcha game shit. Um, I haven't really progressed
Recently,
much in Elden Ring,
yeah.
but yeah.
Recently, I was going back and um, there was a period of time where like a bunch of pretty much like a lot of Korean like game streamers were like a group of them were all getting into like Bang Dream, the mobile game,
Yeah,
at the same time. And it's just like Bang Dream is obviously, it's derivative of. I mean, I don't have any hate against the series, but the game itself is essentially derivative off of Love Life School Idol Festival, just like how all the Idol Master Rhythm mobile games are.
yeah,
Essentially, it's all the same sort of like rhythm game plus get the idol cards plus gotcha, 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 right? And I was just watching people literally spend like you know, $1,500 each, right? $1,500 each, just like on a single gotcha. And half the time it
classic.
was like they were spending this money on like fest gotcha, like double rates gotcha, which usually you don't do, right? Because like usually you either get free stuff during that time, um, or like the point is those double rate fest gotchas tend to come back pretty regularly, right? That's sort of
Yeah,
how
and
they
so
are
stuff like
made.
that's usually what you save your free to play shit for, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or you don't even save your free to play stuff because F2P, because those, like, if a new banner comes out because of power creep or like an old banner that you really need one card for, you save it for that as well, right?
Yeah,
But it's like you see people spending, they're like, wait, I spent like $2,600 on a single fast banner. I'm like, what is wrong with these people?
yeah.
But then I
I thought
realized
I was insane for my
yeah.
spendings on fucking
I mean, you are.
pension.
By
Yeah,
the
well,
way, I
that's all
I I
relative.
I was like, why would you do this? And then I remembered, like, I was trying to think back, like, how much money total have I spent on like Love Live and Dead Stay and stuff like that? I'm like, I think I blotted that part of my memory out. I don't want to remember it now.
Yeah,
And I just like close the video. I'm like, I should probably get back. But yeah, fucking gotcha games, man.
yeah.
Anyways,
Um,
I'm glad that like most gotcha games these days are just bad enough so that they're not, or not good enough so that they drive me away. Because if I got into a gotcha game in this day and age, I would be in a bad state.
I mean, these days, like, I don't know, like,
The
I
thing is,
keep up with.
there's nothing that's better than the standard like 3%, 4% model. You know what I mean? And the every
Yeah,
like power creep every 3 months, power creep every 4 to 6 months kind of rotation. There's
yeah,
no
it's
nothing
it's what
better than that.
happens.
That's the
But like,
problem.
I don't know. I feel like for a lot of stuff that I've been playing, FGO,
Mhm.
Grand Blue. I mean, Grand Blue. I'm not playing. I haven't played Grand Blue in
The
like a
Grand Blue.
long time. I
Uh-huh.
just like log in.
Yeah.
Um, but what else? What else do I even play? FGO. Oh yeah, PGR. I've been keeping up with PGR a decent
Did
amount.
you get into the Blue Archive shit or what?
No. Because
Blue
Blue,
Archive,
I mean, Blue Archive's gameplay is like, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not.
what I mean. Like 90% of that, the value of that game specifically, is just like the etchy like animation scenes or whatever.
Yeah, the live
Is that like, are those
CG
communes?
stuff.
yeah, just
Are
like
those communes or are they cards or what are they? I don't even
Um,
understand.
I mean,
They're communes, right?
I think they're just tied to the character, right? So
Tied to the cards. They're the unlock scenes, right? Are they the unlocks?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I think that they might have like costumes and stuff
might
as
be
well.
like also play like up
But
shit
yeah, like I
too.
feel like
Yeah.
Standard.
a lot of these gacha games and stuff these days, they literally just evolve into like, how hard can I not play the game? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I mean, the
Yeah,
issue
that
is
was the
it's like
biggest problem
no.
with Arknights on
The
something.
yeah,
issue isn't even with the game, it's the fact that, like, how do I say this? It's like, you know how people that don't know about gotcha games are always surprised when they're like, "Oh, I have to spend a lot of money, when I'm playing the game," or like you end up spending a lot of gems or, like, money to begin with, kind of like when
yeah.
they see whales, right? And the point is that in
What?
99% of these games, and this is like a really bad tangent, we should probably stop soon. But the idea is like a
Yeah,
lot of these games are not based around the actual gameplay, it's around the gotcha. Because you want to play the game for the gotcha, you don't want to play the game for the game. Like
yeah.
a
I mean,
lot of times
you
the
play
game
the
is
Yeah, I'm
in the
game.
playing the
way.
game to get
You play the
high.
game. Yeah, you play
to
the
get the
game to get the
high.
gems to
Yeah, the
grow,
game
right?
is oftentimes in the way. So what usually ends up happening is the game becomes, as you have to make the gameplay as efficient as possible. So a lot 99% of the time, you get the cards that will give you the meta team and the cards that you like, and then afterwards you use the meta team or the autopilot team to just continually just like you reduce the game to just like you don't even have to look at it. You just keep like tapping the screen and like you just do that for like 24 hours during an
Yeah,
event. That is
I feel
literally
like
how the
I feel
game
like the
works.
main reason I've stuck with FGO for
Mhm,
so long, besides the fact that it's a Fate game, right?
mhm,
And I like Fate. Is the fact that there's no auto in FGO. Like, you have to play the game. You know what I mean?
mhm,
And to me, like, the fact that you have to play, you have to play FGO, regardless of like what your opinions are on the gameplay. Which personally, I quite like the gameplay, as simple as it is. But like, I feel like to me, it's more like I have more incentive to open the game and go through my dailies, go through
mhm,
like the story chapters, you know, and like
The
actually
game is actually
read.
worth playing.
Yeah, like because you have to play the game. Like the game is
Mhm.
like obviously the meta of SGO is like, you know, you get the team where you basically three turn shit and you one shot every wave, but like, you still have to click the buttons to do that.
Yeah, that's sort of why
Well,
also
the
I
thing
like
is that forces them to take that into consideration. Right?
yeah,
yeah.
when
You
designing
couldn't
characters.
have Grand Blue's level of fucking like bullshit you have to do for like events and stuff in order to like for that game, considering, you can't just they have to take into account, players can't fucking sit here, press one button, let the game play itself for like 90 stuff.
That's
Yeah.
sort of why I
Which I think
also
is
like
nice.
why I try to focus on like, or I haven't really played any mobile games that aren't like rhythm games. Like the closest I've gotten is like Precone, but like
Yeah.
other than Precone and like Kirafan, right?
Yeah.
Kirara Fantasy, I literally just like every game mobile game that I've taken serious is a rhythm game because at least the rhythm game aspect, like there's a rhythm game aspect that's not the gotcha aspect. And if I'm only focusing on like if I'm 80-90% focusing on the gotcha aspect, that would drive me crazy. At
Yeah.
least with the rhythm game stuff, there's the rhythm game aspect I can focus on as well. So
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate because like PGR,
mhm.
probably the one I'm kept on gameplay. Like even like Genshin, like shit like that, I feel like just kind of really taken my desire to like play out as well.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah.
you see like, yeah, all the power creep, and then you're like, well, what am I gonna do with all this? It's like
Better,
99% of the
better,
time I'm gonna fucking
better,
all
better.
auto.
Yeah, yeah, better have like at least like half a spark or more every 3 months. Better have $300 to $900 every 6 months. It's like that. You're like,
Yeah.
God damn it, this fucking power. 'Cause you even know the cycles like past a certain point because you're just like when they're going to release like the new fucking cars and stuff. So
Yeah,
anyway.
you typically see coming like, oh, anniversary's coming up, time for like the new meta
Especially if they fill
defining
out all the
character to
different
come out.
stats, like because
Yeah.
there was usually like stat
Yeah,
variants, right?
and for
But they
Grand
do
Blue
it like everything.
specifically,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
anniversary is
Yeah.
coming out. Time for the new meta-defining Narmaya.
Yeah.
No amount of New Year gotcha or like free tickets are gonna save you from this power creep, and you're
Yep.
gonna fucking
Yeah.
sit there and enjoy it. Anyways, anything else near other than gotcha games and stuff?
Um, not really. I,
No, it's
I've
understand.
just been
Yeah.
I've been gotcha gaming and playing Final Fantasy. That's
All right.
that's 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 my
Good
life
stuff.
for the past couple of weeks, basically. Oh
Don't
yeah,
make it sad. We've all had that phase, dear, or we are
I
having
did
that phase.
watch the Batman.
Ah, yes.
That movie is really, really fucking good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into like a review, but it's probably the best like comic book movie I've like ever seen.
I've always
Um,
enjoyed DC stuff a little bit more than Marvel stuff,
s-
but
yeah.
well, it's
So
obviously, but
I
the
mean
issue is like the
DC.
DC stuff has
So
like they're
yeah,
very bad. When they're bad, they're
yeah.
very
So
bad.
like DC recently, I mean, they've been chasing that like, oh, we want our own like MCU, haha, like Justice
Yeah,
League, wow,
but
and
they shouldn't. Yeah,
it's like guys, this isn't gonna work. Like,
yeah.
and I
Just
feel like
fucking
the
make Man of
reason,
Steel. Like, just go
yeah,
fucking make Man of Steel,
like the
please.
reason the Batman works so well
hmm
is because it's basically just a detective film,
Yeah,
but it has the Batman in it,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
works really well. It's really
It's
fucking
DC
good.
works well with that serious tone. It needs to
Yep.
not get lured into
Yeah,
Deadpool memes
they
and
can't
stuff.
be,
Yeah,
yeah, they can't be chasing this like MCU style writing where Superman swoops in and goes, oh, well, that just happened. Like it's not gonna work, right?
yeah.
They got to do the serious stuff because I feel like that's where DC really thrives, right? Like,
Mhm.
because I mean, even in the comic books, right? Like that's where DC has like always peaked, right? Shit like Death of Superman and the Killing Joke, like that's what the shit people really like about DC. So I feel like
I
that's
feel
what they
like
should
DC as
do.
well, like, can't. I don't know. I feel like for a lot of their heroes, Like Marvel, I feel like is set up to where they can kind of rely on just their heroes, where it's like DC, I feel like has a more uphill battle where it's like,
The issue is
you know,
DC
you
always
can't.
has to
You're
answer.
still starting at 0 when you're like, this is a Superman movie. Like,
Yeah.
okay, like cool.
The
Like,
issue
I
is
feel like
like
you're
DC.
starting somewhere when you're like, here's a Spider-Man movie, something
The
like
the
that.
the,
It's like,
the issue is it's like with Marvel heroes, everything's oftentimes like already been established in not only in the movies but in like popular culture, right?
Yeah.
But it's like with DC heroes because they're so fundamental, right? Like literally like, like The Flash or like Batman or Superman. They are like fundamental heroes in a sense, right? They
Yeah.
are like archetypical like this is a superhero kind of level of like superheroes such that like as you said, like that sort of question almost like has to be answered every time. Like Superman, but why? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like that. It's like it becomes an inevitable struggle. But yeah.
Yeah, that was my
Anyway,
2 weeks.
all right. Well, good to know. Thank you for sharing. Moving on to Toast. How have your past 2 weeks been?
Been all right.
Pretty
All right.
good.
All right.
I know you had a
Oh, you wanted
part
to?
part of this was all by the way, this is being recorded on a Sunday, but I know you had a little bit of unexpected things happening on Saturday. Is everything all right over there?
Yeah.
Okay, pretty good. Just wanted to check. So pretty quiet 2 weeks then?
oh,
Sure.
you know, except for a certain
Other than the Hololive Fest.
Oh,
I
you
do
want
want to let you mention
you
that,
want to
yes.
talk about Holofest? All right.
Just give me a short summary of
There won't be a
it.
short summary. There's 2 days. You'll get 2 summaries.
Two summaries? Wait, no, I need one
What?
summary. All right, give me two short summaries. Give me two
It
short
was all
summaries.
right, I
Okay.
guess.
What would you rate it?
right in there. Yeah.
Day 1 or day 2?
Yeah.
Let's go both
All right.
separately.
Day what? Well, if we're not, do you want me to talk about the expo? Because I could talk about the expo as well. There's some fun happenings that happened at the expo.
Like
Like,
what?
at the expo, they were showcasing all of the members' outfits, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, was it Subaru's mannequin was like was a child's mannequin. Same with Hako's Bales's, because that's why she was short. Laplace
Uh-huh.
was normal size, so that was really weird. Even though Laplace is the shortest one out of everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I why couldn't they order all female models? Because these are all female members. Why they get some boy models in there? What's up with that? Polka's was people were saying that Polka's was a male mannequin too, and she was pretty upset about that. That was funny. Uh, I heard there were mascots of all the branches there. They had a small Ame as the EN mascot, and she had a gun, so that was
Yeah, I
fun.
saw that.
And she was peddling takoyaki before the staff had to throw her out. And it's a rumor that Subaru was the one in the Suba Duck costume, apparently. But she's never gonna confirm or deny that.
Mhm.
I don't know what Ollie's mascot is. I don't know Indonesian. Some zombie bear. Then there was Ankimo, of course. There you go. There was some fun stuff at the expo. They revealed All Stars Gen 3 or 4. Is it 3? I don't know. 4?
I
I
think
think it's
it's
3, right?
3, right? Yeah.
Really?
I think.
So
I haven't kept up with all the stuff.
4. It's 4.
Oh. Oh yeah.
All right.
No one knows if they're the EN group or The Japanese group. I don't know. Sure, why not?
All right. Anything else?
Oh, you want me to talk about? Oh, now I get to talk about HoloFest, the actual HoloFest concert.
Okay.
It was all right, I guess. Day one had the, let's just say, the objectively weak singers of the group.
And then it got slowly better. The cast got slowly better over time. Is what?
What?
The cast slowly got better over, as in
No.
like the later ones like were better than the ones that came first in the card. Is what you're saying, right?
What I'm saying is day one had the pretty weak singers. Like,
Out first, out the door.
yes. I mean, the only noticeable strong singers of that group, what, of day one was Suisei, Azuki, Toa.
Yeah,
That's
you
it.
know what they say in showbiz? Start with a whimper.
I mean, if you have to, like, feel like that's probably their best bet.
And yeah, so and then the rest. Who was there? Whatever. Them, I guess. Then in the middle of that, there was the EN group, but only three of them because they separated them into 2 days. 'Cause, you got to pedal both tickets,
Of course.
So EN debut, Gura, fine, I guess. Fine. She did her song Reflect. I don't know. I got no strong feelings. I mean, she sings well. No strong feelings about her dance or whatever. Then there was Ame. Ame sucks at singing. But she noticeably improved. She wasn't shaky or whatnot. A major improvement compared to her debut, and she sang the Puru Purarin song. You know, the famous one
Uh-huh.
from Welcome to the NHK.
Yeah.
Yes, we are
Apparently
aware.
none of the Japanese members knew what song that was. They're like, "What the heck is this song?" So I guess they don't like the NH. They haven't seen Welcome to the NHK. And then what? Ina sang Violet. Let me just say, Ina had the best EN model of the group. Way better than Gura or Ame. Maybe it's because of Kuroboshi's. Kuroboshi's art translates well into 3D. Very clean lines and whatnot. So that was good for her. You got the best model that day. That's the EN group. Good for them. And then out here comes Muna with her K-pop diva style, singing High Tide. And I'm like, oh, damn, you really have to show up the EN group that badly, huh? And I was like, the EN group aren't really idols per se. So Gura can sing well, but she doesn't really have that idol dance step down yet. But then Muna comes in and she's like, "Oh, here you go. I know how to dance and sing." And everyone in the JP crowd was like, "Wow, a real
Well,
music artist showed up at our idol concert." And I was like, "I guess that's true."
well,
That-
most of the how do I put this? It's mostly about the whole life. People have always been about streaming standards, not about singing and dancing standards. So
I
it is
mean,
what it is.
and then the Japanese group was like, "Oh wow, Beyonce," and I'm like, "Yeah," but yeah, it's
Yeah, not quite. I don't know about that.
compared to everyone else, kinda.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, to be fair,
I don't know if
Indonesia
we
does
should
have
jump to Beyonce.
a idol presence. Like you got K-pop idols. Indian has Indonesian pop idols, kind of like that. That's the
Mhm.
flair that Muna got. So yeah, Muna definitely showed up the EN branch that day. But then whatever. But then then you have to end the first day with a bang, right? It's like who's gonna follow after Muna? No, who else? Who can follow up Muna's act? Who else but Suisei and Towa? Obviously, the other good singers of day one. So yeah,
Okay.
you know how what is it? It's idol etiquette or Japanese etiquette. Do you have to be quiet during concerts or whatnot? They don't scream and shout. Well,
Yes.
not that didn't happen when Suisei showed up. Gee, I wonder why. It's almost like Suisei sells tickets herself better than any of the other girls. Just
Well,
saying.
I think it's not really. I mean, I think. Well, I'm saying that Suisse
Pretty
is popular.
unfair
Look at
comparison
this
as
guy.
well.
I think
Look at
Suisse
this
is
guy.
popular, but I also think it's the whole like staying
She
quiet
has.
thing is not really.
I
I
mean,
mean, it's otaku. They're gonna scream. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to
I don't know,
package
man.
this
It
nicely.
was the rules that you're not supposed to scream or shout. But when Suisa showed up, everyone was screaming and shouting. I was like,
A
yeah,
real
that's about
idol
right.
and stage.
Wow, it's just like a musical.
And you know, Suisei Toa duet Ghost, and I was like, damn, okay, you really gonna end it with a bang. So yeah, day
Okay.
one, pretty good.
All right.
Weak singers, but had the very strong had very strong highs. That's day one.
All right.
Day two had the
Can we please keep it brief? Please keep day two brief. Thank you.
Give us day 2 at the end.
Those
day
Hello?
two had the overall, like I'm gonna say, the better singing group.
Mm-hmm.
Their overall singing average was better compared to group one. What else? Ayame got shafted pretty hard during the fest, and it was very noticeable
why?
because she had one solo song and that's it. Usually during because during these big fests you have everyone has their own solo song and then they have their duet or combination song, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ayame only got her solo song, and gee, I wonder why.
I mean, doesn't Ayame never collab with like fucking anyone
That
basically?
wasn't the no, that was a problem. She collabs a lot, especially during concerts, but she only got one. Another hint. Here's your hint, though. Day two was 30 to 45 minutes shorter than day one.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why.
So it's because a certain someone was missing.
Yeah, Luna,
Everyone,
It's unfortunate.
obviously.
It was a little bit unfortunate, but you know,
yeah, because fine. I'll say it. Just because Rusha wasn't there, people are
I mean, you don't need
strongly
to be.
hinting that Ayame had a duet song or and group song with Rusha, but you know what happened. So
Yeah.
she didn't get there. So yeah, they had to exclude that. So there she goes.
Okay.
And then for let's end it up with the EN group. Who else was left? Callie. Well, can't believe Callie had her EN 3D debut. And let me just say, it was jank as all hell. And I expected that completely from her. She's saying what? Red? I guess that's her best bet at a song fit for an idol concert because the rest are just raps and this one's Australian. Or is it because supposedly Red is her most popular song to the JP crowd? But let me just say, Callie's not good at dancing.
Shock.
Not that she didn't. It's not that she doesn't know idol stuff. It's just that I guess her song itself doesn't lend well to idol dancing and whatnot. And
I mean, she's also painfully white, so
jank ass white stuff. That's what I called it. But yeah, I
So,
think her performance would be better if she had like an actual like a microphone because she is rapping, right? And she kind of didn't know what to do with one of her hands. So next time, give her a mic that she can rap into, so her dancing will be better. That's that's my recommendation. Kiara and Kiara went full power with her idol stuff. Good for her, way better than Callie. in singing and dancing. So yeah, good for her.
Okay.
No,
So
no problems
overall,
with her stuff.
pretty fun event.
What would you rate it?
Compared to the other ones,
Sure.
like the other
Sure.
main ones,
4 out of
uh,
10, but like a real out of 10, not a
Yeah.
the
Not a
they
Mal kind of rating.
yeah, not a not a Mal out of 10 because we don't have any any like
let's say I'm gonna say day one's a 10 out of 10 because Suisei and Toa and Azuki paid my ticket in full, so good. I got my money's worth.
Okay.
It's like okay, sure. I guess I have to wait 3 hours for my ticket. And what day two? Let's say Ayame paid half. Um, Risu's performance was pretty good. Blew everyone again. Blew the Ian group out of the water. ID dominating both days. Can't believe it. And then Sora's performance. What can I say about Sora's performance day two? The perfect idol. Her idol step is leagues above everyone else's. It's basically perfect. So whatever. Yeah. Day two, I guess it was worth my money. Sure. So day one, 10 out of 10. Day two, 9 out of 10.
Okay. I mean, again, as long as people, enjoyed it overall, it was. I'm glad that
There
you
was,
did enjoy it.
there was one person missing, so that's why I can't rate it a 9 out of 10.
Well,
I mean,
things unfortunately did happen, but
I mean,
anyways,
the consequences piled up, and you brought some other members down with you, and I mean,
yeah.
I
I mean,
can I blame you
let's
for that? I kind of can.
yeah. I
But,
mean,
yeah.
let's not go too.
So
But anyway,
good concert, worth the time. Buy both tickets if you can. It ends April 20. If you want to watch the VOD, do
wait, you
it.
have to pay for the VOD?
Hell yeah!
Yeah, dude.
I
If
thought it
you
was just for the
You
if
think
you
No.
you think they're gonna let people watch that shit for
Oh, I
free, bro?
forgot. Fucking Idol Taku. They pay for this shit,
Yeah,
right?
no
bro.
Fuck.
fire,
Okay.
if you missed the live, you can buy the VOD. So
Like the live, I sort of understand, except not really because it's for VTubers. So the live is still not. I mean, in
are
my eyes at
are
least.
you
But it's like the VOD. Really? You're gonna make people pay for that VOD? Come on, man. Like just let them watch. Like let them have fun. Come on, man. Anyways.
what are you talking about?
What do you-
I'm not paying separate for the live and the VOD if that's what you're wondering.
No, but the people who didn't watch the live have to pay for the VOD.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of fair, honestly.
If you
If
missed
it's gonna
the
be a streamed event like that and there's no
if you
real
missed the
bonus,
live and
then
you
to
want to
be
watch it anyway, then yes, you can buy the VOD if you want to. But people who bought
yeah,
the live can watch the VOD later on, buy it for free.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean
I feel like
the
that's
live
fair
paying for the
enough
live
though,
is
because
definitely
like the
fair.
live, like yeah, okay, you're quote unquote like you're watching it live, but if you're not like if there was like other bonuses for the live,
Mhm.
then I feel like yeah, sure, don't have the VODs cost money, but if it's literally just like, yeah, the VODs are just the live, but after it happened, it's like, well, may as well charge for that because then why even buy a ticket to begin with?
Yeah, it was Spire. It was a big event, So they had a whole con behind the live as well. Why not?
Yeah, Spire
Right.
Hololive is a big deal, you know.
I guess.
I don't know if you've
Anyways,
heard of them.
anything else, Toast, this past 2 weeks?
How come where's Niji Sanji EN Fest concert, huh?
I'm pretty sure Niji Sanji is under great management these days, so I
Whatever
wouldn't.
happened to the Niji Sanji live in January? Didn't that get canceled because of the Rona?
Probably, yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff in Japan. I
Damn,
mean,
I guess
they're just barely coming out of state of emergency in like the past 1 or 2 weeks, if I remember correctly. Like, but they're probably going to announce another state of emergency, like maybe sometime down the line, just because like these waves have been coming on and off, and there's a new variant in China, and like it just
Europe is
it's everywhere.
getting slammed again. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure that
so-
won't come back to the
Uh,
West, North America.
how are the Niji Sanji concerts? Are they also split into multiple days, or is it just one day?
It probably depends on the event. I'm not honestly like I'm
I
not
know
very in
Niji
tune with these
Sanji
sorts of
has
concerts,
4
but
members, but how come they only get one concert a day?
yeah. I mean,
Hollow
again,
Life has to split to 2 now, but soon it'll be maybe next year it'll be 3. It's like
because Hololive does. Well, I mean,
Hollow Live is all inclusive. That's why.
well, that's one way to
They,
put
they
it.
they make all their members sing and dance. Niji Sanji, who's least likely to dance on stage? No, not Chika. Chika would
What
dance
else?
on
What
stage.
else? Yeah, I mean, Hololive is very focused on selling the singing and dancing aspect, is what I'll say. But
But yeah,
anyways, that's neither here nor there.
that's it. Next year, console and Ollie's Gen. I guess I don't know what they're called. Hollow Row. I don't. Whatever. Ollie's
Doesn't
Gen.
matter, yeah.
So yeah,
But
even more tickets to sell. Oh boy.
and I'm glad the people there are willing to buy them. But anyways, thank you for your 2 weeks, Toast.
It's
I guess
more
I'll
like
just
2 days.
yeah, but if it's if you like the event, that's fine.
Intense
But
2 days.
yeah. Anyways, I didn't have too much going on, if I remember correctly. I didn't have too much going on. It's mainly me just playing more fighting games, watching a market go up and down, real life stuff, running around, real life stuff, and what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was going back into watching like random Korean like game streamers and stuff over the week for some reason. I got back into them. I'm just like, fuck, I shouldn't be doing this.
Was it Boys Over Flowers?
No, 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 no.
Because what's that famous line from Boys Over Flowers? I was watching Banhada's stream, and she mentioned Boys Over Flowers, and she started screaming.
Oh yeah,
What was it?
a lot of so a lot of Korean female streamers are kind of like they usually do tend to be older or like they were
Can't say
watching anime from an era like a much old not a much older but an older era, right? Like so early 2000s sort of when they were like elementary middle schoolers, right? So a lot of them are more into stuff like Boys Over Flowers and so on. So it's kind of like that's sort of the stuff that they know, maybe some people or yeah, some people like a lot of the girls still know like Oron high school, right? A host club or whatever it is, stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, I got back into like watching those videos.
Oh yeah, I know the line now. It's like I'll be the fireman for your heart or something like that. Weird.
Some weird shit. I was
Hold on. What was that tweet that was going around, that trending Twitter thing?
about what?
Get well soon, Jimin.
Oh,
What happened to
he was
him?
like a BTS
Oh,
member.
yeah,
Fucking
it's the
just
BTS
sliced his
guy. Yeah.
finger. Like
What
that's
happened to
it.
him?
Like he just had like a cooking accident or something.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
It
my
was
heckin'
some
baby boy,
stupid. It was some
no.
stupid shit like that. Like it
I
was
Well,
remember
literally
that.
like he
that's
went into the
disastrous. Why?
hospital
How?
for like a
We
stitch.
don't. We do not condone the types of insensitive comments made by Dark on this show. Please do not send this. Yeah.
Listen, dude.
Oh,
Listen, man. Gods
dude.
cannot be allowed to spill their own blood.
Yeah.
But
Like,
yeah, I only noticed that because
don't make BTS people angry.
Hollow Life Third Fest was trending number
I'm
1,
not
and right under
trying to.
that
I'm
was
just saying it's
Get Well
okay.
Soon.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
But anyways, I haven't been up to too much other than that. It's been pretty quiet these days. I'm really glad that the weather's been turning up so I can actually run around outside again instead of, looking at the weather or not looking at the weather, but looking at the ice on outside, just like freaking not melt
What
for like
ice?
2 weeks on end. But
60 degrees. Where are you?
no, 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 because in like even just like a month, not a month ago, but it's like even like 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, there was still like ice in my the sidewalk, so it
What?
was just like
Man, it was like 60 degrees.
it was pretty shitty.
Where do you live?
I am somewhere
don't.
Yeah,
in the
specifically, we want
East
street
Coast. Yeah,
address.
exactly. I'm somewhere
Where?
on the East
What's
Coast.
your GeoGuessr address?
I have no idea. But anyways, I've been pretty quiet watching some anime stuff. Keeping specifically stuff like Akebi-chan, and something that and Q. I'm gonna be covering Q this upcoming, or I guess this episode. So yeah, been keeping up with stuff, and that's about it. Anyway,
What about VN Lance? Are you got any spicy takes?
unfortunately, I haven't. I should be like I every time I say I want to get back into it, but it's like I don't know, something keeps like pulling me back to like especially like the stuff that's being released these days like
What
don't
about
really like attract me enough to get into. So I'm just like,
what about a 99 or a Clockwork Leyline? Those are out, aren't
I
they?
heard Clockwork Leyline was pretty decent, so I might actually check that one out. To be honest, that's
What
actually a
about
good idea.
99?
I'm
No.
not impressed. I'm not. The thing is, I'm not a huge fan of like people might be like,
Women.
oh, why
Yeah.
are you?
Yeah, we get it.
Oh,
We get it.
Oh, it's because it says no sexual content, huh, Spire? Okay,
yeah,
to me that's
yeah, it
fair.
has to
That's
have
Gotcha.
the
chill.
sexual
Read you
content in
loud
there.
and clear, Cap.
Like the thing is, I'm not a big fan of like the supernatural mystery kind of stuff, and it's like the fate of the world depends on it. I'm not too much of a big fan of VNs that push towards that. Also, I I like palettes slight. So this is 99 is made by Palette, right? Which is a pretty famous. I want to say not a tier one, but like a tier two ish visual novel studio. And I like their I like their more slice of life kind of stuff, like Sakura Stars or Mashiro or Symphony or something like that. But I'm not a huge fan of the whole like 99 like supernatural mystery. Like they must, you know how it's like those VNs that always have those descriptions that's like you must find the girl that is the core at the center of the universe, and it's like I'm not a big fan of those types of like premises, to be honest. So I've never gone along with it, but I don't know.
Do you want my daily recommendation?
You can say it, but I'm not sure if I'll be persuaded.
Do you want a spirit squeezing devil's 5-day long orgasm denial game? If you make a mistake on the last day, I'll really end you.
That sounds pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, Nier wants to be ended right here, right now,
Yeah.
all the time, bro.
Here, do
And
you
we
want
gotta
the
wait till the
synopsis?
last day.
You want the synopsis? I got you. You're a
Yeah.
hero who has made a contract with a cute succubus named Ria. You give her your cum, and she gives you her power. However, even as a spirited hero, you seem unable to handle her milking skills. At the same time, a hero named Bob, what? Bob also appears, ready to form a contract with your precious Ria. This awkward triangle can only be solved with a match. A match to see who can last through 5 days of hardcore edging. The winner of the match gets the right to make a contract with Ria. The
Dude, this is
loser,
literally Bust House.
well, a cruel fate awaits them. How how come Bob is a person of color? Why is it always a
I
what
wonder.
is this?
Anyways,
So
we do have
many.
to.
You interested? It's got
Curious.
a
I am not very interested,
it's
and we
got
do.
two it's apparently it's bundled with 2+ hours of ASMR.
The two plus
Wow.
the
That's
ASMR discs are the important part.
Christ.
To
4 endings and New Game Plus support with ASMR in bundle. Enjoy the ASMR anywhere. Oh
be
wow.
fair, like these.
Anywhere.
To be fair, is these days it's like a lot of the games are bundled with like the radio CDs or the drama CD stuff. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, we do have to.
The drama ASMR, what?
The drama CDs are like the things that have the voice actresses or the voice actors doing like the situation voices or like the ASMR or whatever. It's like it's usually popular like additional bonus material these days. But anyways, that is neither here nor there. We should move on, and we should start out with Toast. What do
What?
you have for us today, sir?
I can't read Chinese. Spire, what do I do? Spire, I'm looking for a person who can speak Chinese or can read Chinese.
Excuse me.
I am not your man, but
You
what
should.
series?
So you're saying you should go down to the old lady at the antique
Yeah.
shop. She can she can read Chinese, both
And
new
then we're
and
gonna
old.
leave those jokes for after,
Ah,
like when Dark was
yes.
in.
Yes, I was Chinese once.
Fucking shit. Anyways, that leads into fucking
I'm
toast.
looking for. So yeah, this I watched the. I'm looking for a man called Lon D. That's this anime, also known as Shenmue.
Uh-huh.
As you know, this is
The
the
animation.
famous. Oh yeah, sure. This is the
Yeah.
famous Adult Swim / Crunchyroll collaboration.
Crunchyroll
Woohoo.
original? Is this a Crunchyroll original?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
It's made
The
by
original story told by. Thank God.
Telecom.
Uh-huh.
I have no idea. Telecom. The Wuzzles. Excuse me.
Cool.
Telecom is a Japanese. Oh, okay, sure. Tiny Toon Adventures. What?
Okay.
Self-produced. Oh, it did it did Tower of God
Yeah.
and
I
PSO2
think
the
they
animation
helped it out with a lot of different
Oh.
stuff, but they
and
did mainly.
Nagatoro. Oh
PSO2
yeah,
Well,
the
they probably
animation
helped
looked
out with.
fine.
Yeah.
It's just PSO2 on the animation just
Were
wasn't
they
very
actually the
good.
main people in? Oh wow, they were actually the main studios for Ijira Naide Nagatoro-san. Oh, all right.
but yeah,
Yes.
Dark. It's funny that you brought up PSO2 the animation because that's kind of what this animation style kind of looks like.
I
Maybe
mean,
it's because it.
I don't think PSO2 the animation was very bad.
I know. I mean, I'm just saying the
Animation wise.
art style is pretty similar if you look at the faces.
Yeah, they have very like sharp features and then not a very sharp like face.
So yeah, for those who don't know, Shenmue is a really old game made back in 1999 by Yu Suzuki. I don't know who Yu Suzuki is. Did he make any other games other than Shenmue? Yes, of course he did. Yu Suzuki is basically the really cool guy who
He was
I kind of was he the guy who basically made Sega relevant for a while on the Dreamcast? I kind of
on
want to
the.
say
I
that.
mean, on the Dreamcast. Well, I mean, to be fair, the Dreamcast was never really relevant. But in terms of like the
Art
Dreamcast being relevant, like Yu Suzuki was like the guy. Like he was like the Shenmue dude. He did the Virtual Fighter stuff. You know, he did it a lot of like
Daytona,
he did a lot of the arcade
fighting
stuff.
Vipers. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's an
like
arcade legend. Let's say that.
he was like the guy at Sega for quite a while. So
Hmm.
I mean, basically the guy that kept Sega relevant for a while. So yeah, and Shenmue released 1999. Damn, that's old. And Shenmue story. Well, the Shenmue story, I don't know
Looking
very
for
well.
Lon D.
Yeah, he's just looking
yeah,
for Lundy.
so from what I remember, and this is pretty vague, is Shenmue's story is basically our good pal Rio, I forget his full name, but
Hazuki.
yeah, he comes home one day and his dad gets fucking ass blasted by this dude named Long D. Which,
Lundy.
yeah, and Long D is looking for some like fucking ancient artifact or something.
He's looking for two mirrors, the
Yeah.
dragon and the phoenix mirror, and it's
Um.
supposedly used to free Chi Yu, some ancient Chinese demon. Sure.
Yeah. And so, uh, Rio's dad gets killed by this dude, and uh, pretty much after that, the whole the whole games is Rio looking for Long D, and the adventures that follow. including looking for sailors and Chinese people and you name it. The Shenmue games are pretty infamous for a lot of their really, really fucking stupid and corny dialogue. Their relatively racist depictions of Chinese people and black people, and just not very good voice acting overall. But they've got like a cult following, and
It's also a very it's also what very good open world kind of game.
yeah. So Shenmue was the reason Shenmue got, I guess, a lot of recognition at the time, like as a game, is that Shenmue is a very open world, like very free roam game, and it's sort of just like this small town,
Mhm.
and you like the way um you're sort of guided through the game is you talk to characters and they say, "Oh yeah, like I know who you're looking for. You're looking for, what's her name down this street." And you will have to go around town and look at street signs and look at, addresses and stuff like that to find who you're looking for. It was one of those games where it's like, it doesn't just tell you where to go. It's like, yeah, they're over here. Go find them. Thing. And because it was such a like for the time a very very detailed like small town like map, it got a lot of recognition. But again, a lot of the characters are they have horrible voice acting and they talk in ways that no human being will ever speak in, and
Was
it got quite the following.
was that a translation error or was the Japanese
I mean, I'm
language
sure a lot
really
of it
stiff?
I'm sure a lot of it was very like awkward localizations and stuff. Like I highly doubt the original Japanese script had, yes, I was Chinese once, like, in it, like a literally written down. I feel like that's very shoddy, like translation and just like kind of pumped out because I doubt the localization for Shenmue got that much love. Um, but the result that followed was like pure fucking magic, right? And Shenmue, like as a series, pretty much after that, has sort of had to embrace that corniness and cheesiness as like part of its identity. So
Okay.
And a lot of the honestly, I don't even remember the story of Shenmue all that, but a lot of the appeal comes from just doing whatever in the town. Like, oh, here, there's a bunch of gotcha machines, and oh, there's also some fun mini games like with some fun mini games. Also, you can play some fancy art like the actual arcade games.
yeah,
Actual
so like
arcade games.
think of like how all the shit you can do in like Yakuza games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How like you can literally just walk into a Sega arcade, play a bunch of arcade games, play claw machine games, whatever. You know, like Shenmue was that before Yakuza. Like so.
Yeah, and so whatever.
So the
That's
anime.
just about it. So the anime, I kind I watched the English dub because the first I'll be honest, the first 4 episodes are free on Adult Swim right now. If you want the other what is it? Five for what 5, 6, 7, and 5 onward, have to log in through your cable provider, and well, I guess I can't. Or
Okay.
more like I don't want I didn't want to yet. I don't want to give them my cable provider just yet. You haven't earned my trust yet. I can't remember. Yeah, so I only watched the first 4 episodes free, and they're pretty good.
Okay.
I
So they just pretty
they're
much going along like the in terms of like because usually there's a lot more variance in how an anime kind of goes through the story of a game rather than versus like something like a visual novel or or a manga or whatever, right? Or even something like a live action. So is there any
so
like
let's see.
big like
Because of
technical
how
differences?
free roam Shenmue is, like what you can do whatever you want during the day.
Hmm.
There's also a time system, so you're limited in your activities per day.
Hmm.
They've kind of had to streamline things a bit
Right, right,
in the
right.
game. they cut out a lot of the fun mini games and whatnot. They did keep the forklifting though, because that's kind of integral to the story. Because Rio was like, I need a ticket to Hong Kong. Tickets cost 150,000 yen, and he talks to that guy with the afro. What's that guy's name?
I don't remember his name. All I remember is he was very racist.
Goro, yeah. Goro is
The
like,
hot dog guy?
Yeah.
no, that's Tom. That's a different
Oh,
Oh
guy.
yeah.
So whatever. Let's start from the beginning. Landi kills his dad, and he talks about the mirrors, right? And then Rio gets a letter. Then he goes around town, kind of truncated a lot, where you see him talking to various NPCs, and they're like, I don't know what to do. They're like, I can't speak Chinese. And then there's Tom. Tom kind of is noticeably not as racist as the old depictions. Gee, I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Yeah, he speaks normally. I'll say that.
Not
Endless hot dogs.
a very obviously white person pretending to do a Jamaican accent.
Yeah, no, sorry, no Jamaican accent.
Damn. Ruined
So
it.
Rio's got the letter. He's looking around, and then stuff happens. I guess. Yeah, I can barely remember because it's really inconsequential. It's moving pretty slow. 4 episodes in, I guess we're at the climax of Shenmue 1, because when this Shenmue 2 starts when he goes to Hong Kong, right?
I think so, yeah.
So yeah, episode 4 is he's at the dock, he's fighting Gui Zhang, and I'm like, oh, sure. So this is the end of Shenmue 1. Minor stuff happens. He's like, I'm looking for the man who killed my father. Do you know Lon D? Whatever. But I guess it's pretty good. The main appeal of this Shenmue animation is, I guess they did this on purpose, but whenever Ryo speaks, he speaks normally. His voice actor is fine, but when they go into obvious storyline choices that are in the game, he goes he goes completely flat with his dialogue. It's very obvious when you say the main lines from the game. It's like, I'm after the man they call Londi. He says it in such a deadpan tone. It's like, you're doing this to reference the game, right?
Is it the same? Is it the same voice actor?
It is. No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Holy shit! There's no. It's been 20 years, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
that would have been great.
They could. Assuming
That
he's,
What the fuck else is
that's
he
true.
doing?
assuming he's
They did.
alive.
I don't think the other. I don't think his employment status is the question I was asking. It was more.
It's Austin Tyndall, whoever this guy is. I don't know.
Right.
It's not. It's
If he
not
gets
the
pulled
original
off
Rio
after 20
voice.
years, that would be pretty fucking. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, whenever like major storyline choices come up, that's not casual conversation. They're very obviously flat from both people he's talking to. It's like, what is it? What do I have to do to meet with the Mad Angels? The Mad Angels, huh? I don't know anything about that, bro. And I'm like, oh my god, is this game dialogue? And it kind of is.
Yeah. They definitely did that on purpose.
It's like, and I'm like, I get it. That's pretty cheeky. Does it enhance the viewing experience? Yes, by a lot.
So can I ask something? And obviously, this is almost like I want to say like almost requisite question whenever a pretty big game or something like that gets turned into an anime. Can I watch this without like, or could someone watch this without knowing anything of Shenmue? Or like knowing about having heard of Shenmue, but not like knowing anything
Honestly,
about it,
yeah,
and watch the
because
anime and like
like I said,
appreciate it
the
and enjoy it.
story's pretty bland and average.
Mhm.
Like if you take away all the fun parts of Shenmue, the story's pretty average. It's not thought provoking. So if you watch the anime, you'll get exactly what you want from Shenmue, minus the actual fun gameplay elements.
Okay.
So
Shenmue,
you're not missing
Thinking
much.
Man series.
Let's see. Visuals fine. Sound. Who does the Shenmue? Oh, I don't know who does the opening. Probably no one important. Undead Noid. Who? Undead by Noid. Who's that? What?
The Noid?
Wait, what?
Opening theme Undead Noid by Kashitaro Ito. Who? Why is it called Undead Noid? Like, what is a Noid? Other than the
I
Noid.
had no idea. But
Whatever.
anything else that was of note in the anime? Maybe like in comparison to the
They
game or anything
might,
like that?
I don't know, but they might be going through all 3 games?
Oh, okay.
That would be
Maybe?
pretty wild. I feel like they'll probably just do.
It's
This
this is
is,
a 12 episode, right? It's not a
it's,
24.
yeah, it's 12, 13.
Yeah, okay, okay,
Episode
okay.
5 is the end of Shenmue 1, if I
Wow.
remember.
Okay.
Shenmue 2 starts at episode 6 when he's in, guess, Hong Kong?
Mhm.
Right.
So, maybe it's just the end of Shenmue 2? Because Shenmue 3 was
Probably.
kind of lukewarm, right?
From what I heard, yeah. I would imagine they would just do 1 and 2. Those are like the more.
Mhm.
Those are the games that really have like a following. Like Shenmue 3 was like yeah, it's finally happening, but then people were kind of just like, okay, like
Damn,
sure,
it's not very good.
yeah,
But what else? They didn't, I guess, other than Tom, they didn't really try to modernize the series at all. It's still knee deep in, when does it take place? Like 1984, 1986?
yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
mean it's not like
They
a
did. They didn't try to change the setting at all. It's pretty faithful to the actual game.
yeah, I mean the thing is it's like it's not like a what was I gonna say? Well, what like anime or like kind of ish things got were there things that got like a more modern remake recent times? I don't think most have been pretty
From Sega?
faithful.
Or from other anime in general, like reboots?
And other anime in general, I mean.
There's a bunch of reboots, if that's what you're wondering. Like
Yeah,
Shaman
there's
King got
yeah,
a reboot,
that's
Fruits
true.
Basket.
I guess the issue is that most of the stuff that have gotten reboots have also been like it's been pretty much like the same sort of era like ish, right? So
I will say though, since this is a Sega property, I'm
Mhm.
comparing it to something like PSO2 the animation and Valkyria Chronicles the animation.
Mhm.
Uh,
I I guess it's the best of the bunch. Because
Wow,
Valkyria
okay.
Chronicles 2, I had that really stupid. What is it? That really. Or the Valkyria Chronicles, the animation had that really stupid love triangle with that one guy that was unnecessary.
yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
Valkyria Chronicles, the animation was just dog shit all around.
And they, they
I want to
freaking.
forget about that
They
that
killed.
animation.
And they killed off Vice. I will never forget them for that. So
Yeah.
I was just saying, like, oh, you like Skies of Arcadia, right? And hell yeah, I do. Skies of Arcadia is in my top 3 games of all time. Like, well, here we're gonna kill off Vice, and I'm like, that really hurt. That really hurt.
Mhm. Okay.
Then PSO2, it was jank, but it did what it did. We got some fun tie-ins with into the game. It wasn't bad, but yeah. Were there any other Sega properties that did this? That,
Not sure. Don't think so though.
but yeah, best bunch of the Sega properties. It's pretty faithful, minus the fun mini games. Um, is it good? Yeah, the episodes I watch are pretty good. Will I try to watch the other episodes? Sure, maybe.
Maybe.
Like
What's your
all I need to do is log in. But do I have the strength of character to log into my cable provider to do this just for this show? Maybe. Nah, probably.
Hey man, I did it for Smiling Friends.
Oh, that is good. That's a good point. I already saw all of Rick and Morty on HBO. What else does Adult Swim have nowadays that's worth it?
Yeah, Smiling Friends.
Smiling
Yeah.
Friends, other than
Oh.
that.
That's about it.
But yeah, is it worth a watch? Sure. Why not?
Okay. Pretty
Sure.
good. What's your score?
I'd rather just say just play the games if you want the actual like jank fun of the actual games.
That is true. I
Because
mean, like for most of these, yeah.
it's on. Is it on? It's on Steam. Yeah, it's $30 for 1
Yeah.
and 2.
The collectioner for 1 and 2 is on Steam. I heard it's pretty good as well. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely lacking the open world stuff. So this is just a straight shot of the series. Oh yeah, the action. It's oh yeah, because without the fun jank, all you have left is the combat and the story, and the fight scenes. They look all right. Bunch of kung fu. Why not? Everyone likes kung fu, right? So
Okay.
yeah, thank God, 'cause I didn't have anything else to watch this season. I ran out, and there's no way I'm doing that stupid ass Sage show. Sucks. Just leave me off with Lee and Dale as the best isekai of this season.
I understand. I
So
understand.
I had to pull a Hail Mary. I was like looking through the list, and like, damn, what else can I watch? Spire recommended what, the badminton one? I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch 10 episodes of badminton. So and then I saw Shenmue and was like, finally something good.
Okay. Anyways,
So yeah.
okay. Is
Now
there
when's the Yakuza, the animation? Or
that's gonna get
Ryuga
so
Gotoku?
many like God, that's gonna get so much attention.
Hell yeah.
30 season animation.
Yeah, it's gonna be just full like shonen series. Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Toast, for helping cover Shenmue, the animation.
Check it
Yeah.
out. It's on Adult Swim right now.
Yep. I believe the first 4 episodes are pretty much freely available, and then like
Yep.
the other like 3 or whatever right now that's out are locked behind paywall or something like that.
Is it a
Uh,
paywall? Because it just
or
said
is it just
login.
account? Okay, maybe it's
Think
just
as
It
long
just
account.
says
if you have a
like a
like
cable account.
cable provider that
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
has Adult Swim on it, like
Mhm.
basically if you are able to watch Adult Swim on your TV, you can go online and just
Okay.
whatever your
Yeah.
provider is and do it.
All
Nice,
right.
but also Adult Swim's player is fucking horrendous. So
All right. Well, again, thank
That
you. Yeah.
is that how cable tries to stay relevant nowadays?
I
I
guess
mean,
Screw
it
it's
has to.
better
screw
than
It's
most
essentially selling
fucking places are
access.
doing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you, Toast, for helping to cover Shenmue. And with that, we are moving on to Dark. What do you have for us today, sir?
Well, I heard you were looking for sailors.
Oh man.
Well, I've got Akebi-chan.
Yes.
Uh,
Akebi-chan no
the
Sailor-fuku, or
yeah,
Akebi Sailor Uniform, right?
yeah. So this is a series about Chi Akebi.
Mhm.
It's a slice of life. Oh yeah, I should probably get through that. Slice of life series. Is by Cloverworks.
Yes. Cloverworks
Cloverwork.
again,
Who's
the
that?
assist yeah. A spin-off of not spin-off,
Not
but it was
anymore.
a yeah, it came out they originally sort of I guess derived from A1 Pictures, but they became I believe they are no longer a sister company, right? They're like actually
Yeah,
their own company now.
they broke off and they're
Yeah. God, the years are passing by. We're fucking talking
Their
about like
own.
random like studio history.
yeah.
But yeah, they are their own company now, and they have done a lot of bigger works recently in the recent years. So, anyways, keep going, Dark.
Yeah. So this is a series about Komichi Akebi, and get this, she wants to wear a sailor uniform. That's kind of kind of where the series starts. She's a country girl that wants to go to her mother's school.
Right?
I believe is also semi in toward the countryside or something like that. It's not like, but it is a prestigious like all-girls school.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons why, because she became like obsessed with this idol that in like one of her commercials wore a sailor uniform. And she thought that she looked so cute. And then went from there. And so the series kind of just picks up where, like, day before she is going to that school. And I think she goes to, like, either goes to, like, visit it or, like, see it or something like that. Or it's just, like, the first, like, day. Can't particularly exactly which. But quickly learns that they changed their uniform years ago. So now it's like this black and red uniform, and no longer a sailor sailor outfit, a sailor suit, sailor uniform. So, yeah, going from there, her mom like handmade for her something, and school was like opted to let her wear it anyway, because they were like, well, technically this was our uniform at some point. So when you think about it, she is in uniform. Kind of where it like really picks up is just her at and being the more like standout person in her class. That you get gimmicks like during her self introduction, she goes on way too long about pretty much her entire synopsis of why she's wearing that. But yeah, so it is a very slice of life. It is not it hasn't been like very drama filled. It's very much like a pretty natural like happenings with a bunch of like weirdos. But you know, it's pretty good. Don't think I don't know exactly if it's going to pick up and try to tackle anything like that, like whether it be like standoutishness and stuff like that. Um, but I kind of hope that it does, because as it stands, they're not really doing anything huge. It's just kind of like there hasn't really been drama per se. It's kind of more just like very very small bits of not even really drama, just happenings that might stress them out slightly, but nothing like nothing has been dedicated to an episode or more, sort of a resolving a problem or something like that. So I
Yeah,
am
most of these are made pretty
five
like
episodes
short
in.
bites, right? They made very like short bites. They're not like, oh, we're gonna spend like 2 or 3 episodes just to kind of like go into the introspection retrospection, right? It's very short
Yeah,
bites. It's
it's very much like we're gonna spend the next 5 minutes on this like scenario.
the thing is like they still make it light though, so it fits
Yeah,
in the
that's what I
episode.
mean. It's like
Mm.
it is a very like light show. It is not a you're not getting into this
It's
like
not like not Review Starlight. What was it? Fuck, what was that
um
series from one or two? Remember when we were talking about the anorexic girl or the
yeah, like the bulimia and
bulimia
stuff
girl?
like that.
Mhm,
Yeah. I
mhm.
don't even remember anymore. I just remember it
It's
wasn't
it's
great.
not like that.
Yeah, it is a which is weird. Like that is honestly the feeling I got when like during the opening
Oh yeah, yeah.
and everything like that. I like had flashbacks to that series because I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be one of these.
I think it's
And it's
like
very much
I think
not.
it's almost like it's the fear these days, right? Where you're always like, oh, is this series going to go too dramatic? And even especially with this sort of slice of life where all the characters kind of gathering and stuff like that, you're always like, or and like it's the coming of age kind of series, right?
Yeah, I was just kind of like, is this
These
gonna be
days,
like really?
yeah, you're like, is this gonna fall into drama? Is this gonna be dramatic? Like every time you kind of see the girls like coming together and kind of being like running into troubles, or like, is something gonna happen? But it never like Akebi-chan never really falls into that trap. And I do want to use the word carefully, but I do think it's a trap. It never falls into that trap of like being like, okay, now this girl is very sad, and now we're gonna have an entire mini arc dedicated to why she's sad. It never fully falls into that pace. You know what I mean? So
That does seem to be the case.
no,
Quite nice, refreshing to not like have to worry
yeah.
about that and just have a slice of life. One of the other reasons why I was like semi-concerned too was because this series is like its style is like kind of strange,
Mhm.
different style. So there's that, but it's more of like what is it? Its audio visuals are way better than something you would expect from like a a very calm slice of life series. Like I feel like the higher budget they start throwing at you in the beginning, like the more I'm kind of like, okay, is this series gonna be like it's a slice of life, but is this gonna be like really heavy drama, shit like that? Um, which the series has thankfully, in some regard, like thankfully not been
I mean,
Mhm.
it's
really dramatic.
Cloverworks. Cloverworks puts out good shit.
Yeah. So hopefully,
I also
hopefully
like
keep
it how
that up.
the again as we're discussing the artwork is more faithfully represented by the manga of the original artist who is
Yeah.
Hiro, who I believe did Yumekuri, which is what I sort of remember the artwork from, and he also did something else, right? He did like a couple of other stuff, but yeah. Hiro, let's see, Akebi no Sailor-fuku, Super Cub, right, and Yumekuri.
Yep.
I mainly remember his artwork from Yumekuri, but yeah, his artwork is quite distinct. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that they replicated it instead of
Yeah, it's
kind of
It's
going
got
the
a
definitely
whole.
it is
it's got a
something
good
to
tone to it for
get
sure.
used
Yeah.
to.
Cause like even with uh, cause I haven't watched the show, but I've seen snippets, right, just for the animation, and like I could tell that this is like it's got like that same sort of uh like visual feel as Super Cub does, even though these
Mhm.
are both done by like the anime adaptations are both done by different studios. Like
Right,
you
right,
can
right,
sort of see it, right? It's got like that same energy. So
right.
it's very, very faithful to the original art, which is very nice to see. And it's a
Mhm.
nice style as well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's
um,
really a whole lot else. And I would say it's definitely worth a watch, especially if you want something like, a much wouldn't say slower, because it
but
is
you
a
can let
very
it down.
like
You can let your guard down, I think is what I would say
yeah,
about
it is very much like, if you want a series that like um is very much like slice of life, like girls doing things.
it. And you don't have to worry like
Now let
in
me ask.
episode like you don't have to worry like, oh, in episode 10 or 11 um is somebody going to fall down a hole and then they're going to end up at the hospital and then there's going to be this and that happening. You don't really
Yeah, and
have to
then
worry about that.
characters are gonna be like fucking yelling at each other with
Yeah.
sweat flying off of them.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
let me ask. Is this a Yuri series?
Um. So far, like, there's been like small, like,
Right. What's that one show where all
really
they did was
Yuri
kiss?
bit.
It's like citrus, I think, is what you're
Oh,
probably talking about.
before
Or
that.
oh,
what?
Spire's anime of the year?
Yeah.
Oh, Sakura
Oh,
Trick.
soccer
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
trick.
like
Yeah.
Yeah. El Soccer de Trig.
I fucking uh,
No.
oh,
It is not. I don't know if they're even gonna really do Yuri
Nah,
like
they probably
relationships at
won't.
this point.
so it's just friends.
They have,
All right.
yeah. I mean, it's just like
yeah, I think
interactions. Like
yeah, I think Akebi-chan is actually
they had
very
a
mild
thing,
on that
like
front. Like, cause they could have done it,
yeah,
but
like
a
they
lot
had
of
a
times
thing
like
at one
they
point
very, they don't
where
even
they like
really.
told the character like, "Wow, you have really really nice legs."
Mhm.
I think
But
the
it's like
blonde is also like into legs and feet.
Yeah.
So there's
They,
that.
there
Like,
are like scenes where like the girls show like kind of like etchy kind of things, but it's like not. How do I say this? You know how it's like when they have like just girls. A lot of times the series, the way they do fan service is like they have them like their faces close to each other because they like fell on top of each other or something like that, and then they blush or whatever it is, right? There's very little of that in the series. They have like the girls like like showing their legs or whatever it is, but they don't have the girls like kind of trying to do like fake out some kiss scenes. You know what I mean?
yeah, the
Yeah.
closest thing so far has been one character who Akebi said that to, and then like at their house and was like, "Wow, no one's ever said anything like that to me before." Like,
Uh-huh.
but she didn't like essentially say like she didn't go along with Akebi during that, and was like, "All right, maybe I'll take a picture and see myself in a different light." So she like took a regular selfie or just like a regular picture of her legs, and then took like a much more like etchy like shirt open slightly pose on her bed selfie, and was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure to not send that.
Mhm.
And then someone walked into her, she hit send immediately.
Nice.
Heavy. So that was very much, that's been like the only real like Yuri at this point, which would obviously make me
Oh,
think
so they're
not
not
really
making out.
no, I don't think there's a chance of that happening. Maybe there will be a actual like lesbian character at some point, but even then, I don't think the series really is going to have room for like a relationship thing.
How old are these characters again?
They're school, right? Isn't this high
16?
school?
They're 16.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
high
it's like
school,
early high
right?
school.
Yeah.
Um,
Is kissing legal at 16?
no,
I
No,
it's
it's
yeah,
illegal. It's
punishable.
banned.
It's
It's
punishable
definitely
by
punishable,
death.
punishable
But
by death.
banned.
this author doesn't really seem the type to do like relationships in a series like this
It's
because
more like it's just like drawing girls, like cute girls doing stuff. It's literally like that is his extent of it. Period.
yeah,
It's yeah. It's not. It's not even. It's like a Tamayura kind of thing. It's not even like a Yuri Yuri kind of business where Yuri author is like, yeah, we should throw in some stuff there. But it's like it's not even that. It's like Tamayura where it's like, or like something like maybe Slow Loop or something like that where it's just like, yeah, you just have the girls doing stuff and that's about
yeah,
it. Yeah.
it works.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. And I again, I agree with Dark in that I think this pacing, like maybe not getting it all the time, but in my opinion, this pacing is more stable than the whole usual like, oh, I don't think you know exactly about my history, but my mother is sick and my dad died in a car crash and my grandmother's already in the
And
hospital.
I'm feeling emotions.
Also, I have a liver disease. It's like, and then it's like, and then that takes like 2 to 5 episodes to resolve and
and bold of you
introspection.
to do that because that other series would have fucking resolved that in one.
It
So
would- exactly.
to which then leaves you to like begs the question of why did you do this?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
That's primarily like where I'm coming from with like the more refreshing
mhm.
to have like this sort of tone, this sort of
Very
not
Yeah,
to
the
relaxed.
more
be
dramatic a series is, the harder it becomes to resolve properly in an anime, especially if it's like a 12, 13 episode anime and there are
yeah,
other
and
things that
also
you resolve.
like
I
Yeah.
mean, it's
you
harder to
know
like relate to it as well, like
Yeah.
because even teenagers. Well, I mean, some teenagers are, but like most people aren't necessarily that dramatic
Or
about.
have that. Like there are people
Yeah,
that
yeah,
have
like
fucked
there's
up
not
lives,
like
but
that
not
level of
yeah.
drama. Like it's
Not
yeah,
not
like
everybody is just like every single one of my ancestors died in a car crash. Like that's not how that works,
yeah,
right?
like
Like
but yeah.
yeah. Anyways, any last words on the series,
Why
Dark?
why do you always have you
audio
noticed that
visuals.
Wait,
have you
wait, Toast,
noticed
what you
that
To
got?
Dark
watch.
always watches a girly shows and Spire always watches a boys shows? What's
What are you
that?
trying to imply here,
Well,
Toast?
hey, listen,
Sorry.
2 episodes ago, I watched the gay show this season, so
Was
Weren't
it
you the one
girls?
that watched the like Akihabara or like whatever it was, the one where was it Shibuya? Where was it? Something where it's like they had like the rock like vampire boy bands or whatever the hell it was, right? Were you the
Yeah,
one that
but
watched that?
that's not.
I
Yeah.
was the one that watched
But
that.
Yeah.
that's not true
But that wasn't
homosexuality.
gay, it was just
That's not
boys.
true.
What's that show you watch?
Toast is the fucking homo gatekeeper, dude.
You know, listen,
I watch
Toast is a seeker. He's trying to seek the true
I
homosexuality.
I watched Futsal Boys, and that was kind of homosexual, but it wasn't. You
Yeah,
know,
it didn't.
Sensations Vanitas. No, that's not it.
It didn't pass the
no,
eh,
not
homo
Vanitas.
the homo
Vanitas,
test.
unfortunately, is not gay.
Spy, what was that one show you watched again with the giant, and he made the dude his wife? That's pretty homosexual.
That's
Wait,
true, that
what?
one was pretty
Oh,
gay.
the Titan's wife or
Yeah, the
bride or
Titan's
Yeah,
whatever.
bride or
yeah.
whatever.
Bride. Yeah, Titan's Bride.
That
That,
Yeah,
shit. The cover
that one was
itself
pretty
looked like a
good.
dojin. That was fucked up. Yeah.
how was the end of the series, Spire? Did he get how
I
did he
don't
get
even
railed?
remember.
Goosh goosh, bro.
You're
I mean,
supposed to know
It
these
was.
things as the watcher.
Yeah, it actually was a smut series too. It wasn't like a regular
Nice.
short or anything like that.
Fucking
It was one of
course it
those.
was, dude.
It was
Bro,
part of the Anime Festa one because
with
Yeah,
a
it was like a
fucking title
fucking
like
tight.
Titan's
Wasn't it? Was it a
Bride.
small
yeah, like
blonde boy in the
Titan's.
arms of a big fucking like tan Titan guy?
It's
Yeah,
it's like one of those. It's like one of those like those series where it's like they not series but one of those like a hentai where the girl has like the huge dick, not just like regular futa but like
Yeah,
legit like
one of those series, you know, one of those
huge.
series that you'd regularly see, you
Yeah,
know.
regular. Yeah, one of those anime series that you regularly see, but one of those like hentai or like erodojin or ero manga series, right? Where it's like they have like the huge penis, and it's
yeah.
like
So 99% of fucking Futanari dojins at this point,
that is
Man,
actually true.
they're
And
it's
more
like
common than a normal one. Like,
it's like it's one of the worst things to get. You see a good title, it's like, oh yeah, I'm into this. But then when you zoom in, oh, that's what that
well,
was.
a lot of times you don't need to zoom in. You don't need to zoom
Toast
in.
is,
That's right.
yeah, Toast is like getting baited by like the top half of a fucking dungeon.
I
And
mean,
it's like, hey,
that's
wait a
Yeah,
minute.
that's
yeah,
happened multiple
he
times.
rubs his hands together. He's like, yeah, and
It's
it's just
No,
like
like,
it's like you know
oh,
how in the old days where it's like there's like the memes about like in the old days where the picture had to like load like one line at a time
yeah.
like downwards. It's like the first half starts loading until it's like all right, and then it goes down and it reveals the
to
video.
be fair, when I'm on the site, I see a thumbnail and I immediately click it. And I'm like, oh yeah. But then
Yeah. No,
when you look
I
carefully,
know
it's
where you're
like,
coming from.
oh,
Yeah, when it's loading. Yeah, when it's loading. Yeah, yeah.
what do you mean
Hey.
loading? It's like, oh, see, I just clicked one right now and it baited me. Bam, just to check.
Real
Hey,
time.
Dark. Any last words on the series?
Yeah, if you like more like cozier stuff, I would say give it a shot. Because you know, obviously, it's like if you're in it for drama, you're um like some deep drama.
Mhm.
I fear the day when I click on something made by Tony Taka and then
Drama
bam,
alert.
you hit me with that.
But yeah, the I don't know, the series is very good. Its audio visuals are very, very good. Its style is nice, but is something that is obviously a very original style. So, um, it's gonna look probably kind of like fucking bizarre to if you know, for their like
I think you're just bugging, bro.
first little
I think
bit.
this style is fucking sick.
I mean, I think the style, I like the style, but I think it's very weird when you like see it in mode. Like, it is not a usual style that you see.
Yeah, you're
Like,
whack.
okay, I'm I'm just saying that I think that people will like be, I don't know, I guess like surprised in some manner, say, but overall, I mean, it's like I said, it's not.
Yeah. Okay, pretty good then. And again, this is Akebi-chan no
Yeah,
Sailor-fuku,
basically,
right?
give it a shot. If if you enter this and you're like, man, it doesn't look like JC staff work at all, stick with it.
All right.
Y'all get used to it looking a bit different from
How
a
come this
lot of things.
isn't how come this isn't glossy like my JC staff anime?
Yeah,
Bro, come on.
Glossy and JC staff do not go together. So
Yeah, not anymore.
you're
It's more
No,
talking
like
yeah,
about
not
this
it's more
anymore.
like
Before they
how
did.
come this isn't 3D like my JC staff series?
Oh, please. Half the time I wish it was 3D. It's more like, how come this doesn't have shading like my JC staff series?
Bro, JC staff is like pumping. Are they still? Are they still like pretty? Because it's like JC staff has slowed down their pace these days. Not because of Corona, and not just because of Corona, but like even in the years
Um,
before, they were
I feel
starting to slow
like
down their pace, right?
yeah, because before they were pumping a lot of shit out, but I feel
Yeah,
like they
in like at
slowed
least
down
the
a little
earlier
bit.
2010s, they were literally doing like 2 or 3 series a season. So
I think they're still doing like I still think they're still doing at least like 2 a season.
okay.
Um, but yeah, they still don't look good.
They still, yeah. Hey, they're trying,
Yeah,
okay?
I mean,
You gotta be give the B for effort.
Do I?
Anyways, that
it's
was
not so much JC staff's shit, just like they're so hit and miss.
hmm. Yeah, they're I don't know what
I
it
feel
is.
like it's mostly miss.
Yeah, I mean, well, basically, yeah, actually, I mean, as of recent memory, it's been like everything was a miss, and then they decided to actually, put money into Railgun Season 3. Like, not even Index Season 3 got money.
Hmm.
Apparently, Railgun Season 3 was able
Part of it's
to, so,
probably COVID, but I mean, blaming COVID can only get you so far,
Yeah, you
right?
can only
So
go so far with that.
yeah.
yeah, so, anyway, series looks good, sounds good, got a good OST.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
watch it.
Pretty good, pretty good. Thank you very much. And that was Akebi-chan no Sailor-fuku, or Akebi's Sailor Uniform, brought to you by Cloverworks. Slice of life involving and coming of age involving cute girls. Please do check it out.
What is the age limit for coming of age?
It's probably before high
Puberty?
school, or probably before graduation from high school, right?
You could call most
Yeah.
JRPGs with like what a 13-year-old
Before,
protagonist a coming of age.
pre-high
thing.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's almost
except
like a
most
lot of
people
Japanese
aren't.
stories are coming of age stories.
Pokemon is a coming
Yeah.
of age story if you think
Except he
about it.
never ages. Yeah.
Except Ash
Well, the
is.
games at least you're like what 10 years old and then you become the champion. That's a coming of
Yeah,
age.
and then you
thing.
become like 80. Yeah.
Yeah, but you become the champion at like 10 years old, so I don't really know if I would count that as much of a coming of age.
Who's the oldest?
You don't really progress.
Who's the oldest Pokemon protagonist? Isn't it the black and white kids? They're like 17.
Black and White 2, I think maybe.
Because I know the Arceus protagonist is 15.
Damn.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Ancient.
I mean, they don't usually explicitly state the ages,
Not anymore,
but
huh?
they usually like a rough ballpark idea, right? But yeah, I think like Black and White or Black and White 2 was probably like the oldest that's the protagonist. But anyway,
Isn't that the same one where where it implied that Pokemon and humans could procreate?
that was in I think that was in X and Y.
Oh,
Yeah,
alright.
there's like a weird book you could read that was like, yeah, in the past, humans and Pokemon just procreated. And what? Like,
It was a humans and Pokemon were one and the same, and I was like,
Damn,
wait a
dude.
minute.
yeah,
That's
That
when
was like
everyone.
the.
That's when everyone was like, "Oh boy, Gardevoir is back on the
oh
menu."
boy.
Oh boy, Mr. Mime and Jinx.
That's like that's the whole that's Pokemon's lusty Argonian maid moment, right? That's
Yeah.
What do you think Machoke's hiding under that leotard?
Stop.
God damn it. All right. Anyways, we do have to move on, and thank you very much, Dark, for helping to cover Akebi-chan no Sailor-fuku. And I'll be going next here, I guess, and I'll be covering Q. And this is
I was looking for that
QAnon?
series.
Please
Uh-oh.
we we're already calling BTS
Spires
people.
Leaving the
Now we're
dropping
blame,
calling out
boys.
messages.
QAnon. We cannot, guys. We cannot have BTS and QAnon on the same.
Leaving the blame, brother.
We can't have everybody fight. We can't be fighting everybody. Okay,
Whoa,
this is
Spire,
too many
Spire,
people to be
you're
fighting.
Yeah, Spires
covering
like in
Q.
my last 2 weeks, I waited for one of the Kennedys to come back to life for about like 18 hours.
Wait, Spire, which
Anyways,
Q is this? Is this Q by Moi Calabian, Gao Gura, and Deco27, which has 9.2 million views right now?
no, I don't think so. But this is
I don't
a
think so.
yeah, this is a oh. Okay, so I lost train of thought. So this is a voice. This is a
Oh,
mobile smartphone.
is this the multimedia thing?
Yeah, this is a multimedia project. This is the core of it is the smartphone game. It's a
Of course,
smartphone game based off training new voice actresses and stuff like that. So it's essentially idol stuff, but with voice actresses. Um,
How
and
old are they?
I have no idea. They're various ages, probably. I don't know.
Who's your favorite?
I don't really have
You
The
a
sent
youngest
us
favorite.
one.
Spire,
The
you sent
only
us a picture. Who's your favorite of the bunch?
I don't actually know. They look all pretty similar in terms of
What?
like
You don't have
you
a
can't
favorite
say
voice
that,
actor?
dude.
What? You liar. Who's your favorite voice actor, Spire?
um my favorite out of this lot?
Now, who were you cooming over in chat earlier? Was that not from this series?
Yeah.
Oh no, she no, but she's not one of the girls in the actual
Yeah,
like the voice act you can raise. It's one of the trainers, I believe, that she's
yeah.
Oh.
I
voicing.
think she's like one of the
Yeah.
main like.
Yeah, the main
I
like
looked it up after Spire
it's
started
Kirika Yura. It's
voicing.
Kirika Yura or
Yeah,
whatever it is. But it's like
she's got a
the
good
she has
voice.
good ponytail. Yeah, but I'll cover that later. But the thing is, so this is a multimedia project and it's made by Libra Entertainment. That doesn't really matter. But the anime adaptation is being done by, I believe, a combination of the 2D is being covered by uh, Umeta Company,
Who?
who have done very like a bunch of like smaller stuff. Um, they did like they helped with a lot of like kids shows like Digimon Adventure. They did stuff. Oh, they did stuff. Small like ONAs here and there. Um, yeah, they helped a little bit with recent stuff like Mother Alternative, but the only like major things that they've done as the main production studio is Renai Bokun, or I believe My Sweet Tyrant. They did some
What?
other
I like
stuff,
that series.
and Tokyo Mew Mew New.
What?
So
Ew.
that's pretty much. And
What was
three,
Tokyo Mew Mew's English name?
I have no idea.
Was
And
it just Tokyo?
Graphinica
All right.
is the other 3D, the 3D animation end is being handled by Graphinica. Graphinica
Yeah,
doing a bunch of like again, they've been handling a lot of like kind of smaller series 3D CG stuff, stuff like Assault Lily Bouquet, stuff like Centaur's Life, some other stuff like Divine Gate, Dorohedoro, stuff like that. So that's who's handling the 2D 3D CG front. The 3D CG, and I'll just go a little bit quickly into the audio visuals here, but it's there's not really that much of it. It's like when the characters are like doing some like dancing stuff because they've been cast as idols in some projects or whatever or as an event, they have like the little like 3D kind of like dance that like it's a little bit harder to tell because it's the scale of it is much smaller. Like they don't have like the girls like all singing and dancing like how the Love Live CG was. You guys remember that, right? The Love Live,
how could I
the
forget, bro?
yeah, they don't have them on front stage. It's like much smaller. And they're kind of like showing the girls at the event, right? They're not showing the event itself, really. And so they blended it in a little bit better, and it's like not as visible. But like with the movements and stuff, you can tell. Like anybody who has seen it more than a couple of these, idol 3D or like dance 3D kind of CG kind of stuff,
Yeah,
you can tell like the animations. So it's still noticeable, but it's not that bad because it's smaller and it's kind of compartmentalized in. 2D is pretty standard, as you can kind of see from this. It's like it's very, they turn the usual game art into the anime stuff. It's it's no big shakes. One thing I do want to add though, this is a thing I do want to actually mention before I go into a little bit of some of the other like people involved in here, is that so this is an anime about voice actresses, raising voice actresses, and their trials and tribulations, right, while they're in the voice acting industry. And so there's like a lot of, different events, right, where it's like they're working with a sound engineer, they're working with the producer and the directors and talking with each other and stuff like that. And they're because they're voice actresses, they're being cast in these different projects, right? And one of them's like a pretend like anime, a fictional anime inside this Q anime called what is it? Bloom Ball.
Evangelion.
Yeah, Evangelion 4.0, but yeah, Bloom Ball, which is like this like
Is it
weird
like
like
Yu-Gi-Oh?
no, it's like the the Olympic space universe thing that came out like a couple of seasons
Blitzball?
ago.
Barnes ball.
Uh, yeah, the it's like that and like Keijo kind of like like themed, where it's like they have like the super like they're
They
like
they
Crystal
they
Tennis like ball with powers and
they
stuff like
use
that.
their
Super.
butts and boobs to hit the ball.
Yeah, but
Nice.
not it's like magical girls plus like sports thing, the fictional anime. So it's called Bloom Ball, and then the other one where it's like virtual idol kind of stuff, where it's like Project Vogel or whatever it is. So they have all these like fictional projects within the actual anime, right?
Right.
Those ads, like guys have to watch it. They are better than they're better animated than the anime.
Is it like the fucking God? What was that like? What was that like video game inside of Kingdom Hearts 3?
Oh no, I
That got
don't.
like the full cinematic. Like,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Verm Rex or
yeah,
whatever.
Vermrex. Yeah,
So this like the anime here, like especially because it's a slice of life, and it's because it's the middle of COVID and earthquakes and everything like that. So there's not that many frames, right? The ads for Bloom Ball and Project Vocal, like okay, Bloom Ball, I watched the like the couple like how the 30 seconds or whatever that's like the Bloom Ball ad, right? Inside the Q anime. I legitimately was just like, am I watching like Vivid Dread? Like transformations? Like, why are there so many frames for this ad? I'm just like, what? Like, why are you guys animating this better than your actual anime? It was ridiculous. I'll show you guys later, but it's
Damn,
like
here I was
I-
impressed with fucking what's it called? Uh Disc Doll when they like the fucking
Mhm.
fake magical girl show and shit.
Oh my
Wow.
God, I'm watching. Is
What?
this is this is this cut where like there's
It's
where
like
they're
beginning
on
of
like
episode two or something like that, or like
where
some
they're in
weird.
like the well, I'm not sure what this is. Like this, I'm just watching it on fucking Sakugaboo, right? But like this cut where it's
It's at
like
the very beginning of episode
it's
two.
like the
It's at the
spaceship shooting at these two on like a ski-doo or whatever. Is that like one of the ads?
No, it's okay. Go to the very beginning of episode two. They're like they have like the no, yeah. Go to the very
Oh,
beginning.
is this the ball one?
Yeah, it's a
Ball?
ball one. Everybody go to
Yeah.
the beginning of episode two. I'm like, this is
Oh, I
better
see it.
animated than the
This looks
actual
yeah.
anime.
This looks
On
really good.
Sakura.
This is. I'm like, what is going? Like, if the entire anime was like this would legitimately be contention for anime of the year. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, right here, right
Yeah, it
now.
looks really nice.
Yeah. If this animation was the entire thing, like I would be like, okay, this is contender for anime of the year. Like we're in winter season. I'm not afraid to call it like right now. But it's like, what the fuck? Like, why are you animating your ad like fictional ads better than your actual anime? But anyways, that was one little thing. For most of
Of
the
realism.
yeah, for most of the what was I gonna say? In terms of the major people involved in it, for most of the part, the music and the character design people are pretty experienced team. The only kind of like people that are a little bit more on the new greenhorn side is the actual director, Katakai Shin, who hasn't done that many big things. He's done a little bit of Ice Shield 21. He's done what has he done? He's mainly been within the new with like Umeta Studios and done like their kind of stuff inside, but he hasn't been a major direct for a lot of stuff except for Q and a little bit of Ice Shield 2021 and like something called like New Angelic Abyss, which again I believe is part of what
Wow,
Umeta
that's
did.
an old name.
Yeah. So he's been on the down low for a while, and I believe one of the character design stuff, or some of the character designs, was done by an artist called Ciso, who's done like some some isekai like light novel designs and stuff like that. But other than that, the rest of the team is uh pretty experienced. Same with the voice acting crew. They
Are all these newcomer VAs or no?
Yeah, I think most of
Damn.
the new like the characters that you can like, select in the game, right? And the ones that are kind of mainly featured in the anime are new because they're like
They're
picked to be part of like the whole like voice actress, idol, multimedia project kind of
you
stuff.
see that? You see that, Spire? My
Mhm.
my prediction has come to pass. With
Well,
what was the other series I covered? Was it Idolish?
it was
No.
selection project
Yeah,
or
so
whatever.
it's just like Selection Project, but with
Yeah. Again,
damn.
it's the combination of having this sort of anime where it's like they have a lot of like multimedia idol kind of like positions, and the fact that it's also like a winter season kind of thing where it's like they can afford to have these names.
Can you believe now Toyama is an old hag now?
She actually she
She's
said it was
30,
her 30th
man.
birthday. Yeah, it was her
Yeah,
30th
she's
birthday.
30. Can't
Uh,
believe
yeah, I saw that
she's
video,
as
but
old as Marine.
Washed up.
watch that. And then the supporting
Pew.
characters are all obviously veterans, like Suzaki Aya, Hikasa Yoko, Igarashi Hiromi. I
What's the
just want to
term?
say, I
Christmas
just
cake, right?
what?
That's the
Yeah,
term, right? Christmas
yeah.
cake.
Yeah. I just want to say this. I was like fucking nerding out because again, I am a voice actor otaku. Um, in Discord just a little bit before this podcast because Igarashi Hiromi was doing this voice that was like so one of the trainers for these like new idols is like this very kind of like not curt but like pretty like prim like down to business like person blah blah blah. And when she does this scene where she voice acts, she's doing a very like tomboyish prince, like raspy, almost like raspy voice. And I was like, who's voicing this character? Is this like Yuzuki Ryoka? Is this like Kobayashi Yu? Because she has like the raspy voice and like, but she still has like the smooth like kind of handsome-ish like voice down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I checked, it was Igarashi Hiromi, who is again known for her range is so flexible. She's done Armika in Street Fighter Five. She's done Anzu Futaba in freaking Idolmaster, which is like
Yeah,
opposite ends of the spectrum.
yeah.
She's done. There's this one scene in Guilty Gear Xrd where she's doing Jacko that I always like recommend to people when they want to see
Yeah,
like
where
what.
she like completely changes mid sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's like she goes from a
it's
baby voice to
so
an adult. I'm like,
yeah,
this is what a voice actress
it's
is.
so impressive.
I'm like, oh my fucking god. So I like I heard this as well, and she's like, oh, it's her doing the voice, and it's like it sent shudders down my spine. Obviously, again, it's like this is what I expect like voice actresses to really aspire to. But yeah. Anyways, going back to the anime itself, a lot of it's just like uh it's a mixture of smaller end trivia about like, oh, we saw the author talking what a role does the author of the work that's getting adapted into the anime, what role does that author have in terms of like, picking the voice actresses, or like making production decisions, direction/production related decisions, right? And it's like they have like the female author just like staring at people and being like, oh, I like that girl, like, this isn't it, or whatever. It's like, so it's like that small like almost like surface ish level trivia, right, where they're kind of like talking about voice actor and voice actress related stuff, but it's not really a series where it really hammers down and goes into the details, or like revels in the trivia. It's not like a slow loop or a I, why do I keep forgetting the name of that Gun Girl series? What is
Upote.
Upote? God, you're a lifesaver, Toast. Yes, Upote. It's not like Upote or like Slow Loop where they're like really reveling in the trivia. It's much more like surface level, which obviously suits the fact that it is based off like a multimedia like project where it's like it's a smartphone game about raising idols come voice actors, right? It's not about really the voice acting like trivia. But it's a little bit more focused on the girls, and the girls are kind of going through their, the usual drama, right? Where it's like, oh man, I didn't get picked for anything. Now I'm down, and it's like an episode or one episode, I guess, is kind of dedicated to kind of looking past their troubles and being like, yeah, well, I knew this road was gonna be filled with hardships, but I want to be a voice actor so I could make everybody happy. Blah blah blah. All that cheesy shit. And there's that, and then there'll be another thing where it's like the girl is put into an important role, but she keeps messing up because she's nervous and she has to deal with it. And each episode has this problem that a different girl is facing, and then they have to solve it. A lot, not only stuff like that we've seen before in terms of like similar multimedia games, but also in terms of like the general like idol uh anime adaptation kind of stuff or idol franchise adaptations, like the stuff you've seen in Idol Master and Love Live, where like each girl kind of has their problem and they have to solve it or whatever it is. The slight difference here is that I do like is that they bring a lot of the girls together when the problem is being discussed, right? Where one of the I wouldn't say necessarily issues, but one of the things that I would have liked to see improved at least when I was watching something like an Idol Master or Love Live is that a lot of the casts weren't constantly interacting with each other. And I know that's unrealistic to have them constantly interacting with each other, but at least like have them talk a little bit more, like have them talk it out, or like the friend network is like working where like they're interacting, or like they're reacting to like, oh, this girl is having issues, or like, oh, do you want to talk, or something like that, and they're kind of like making their friend networks and they're talking through the problem, right? And I think that's a nicer thing to see on the screen than the standard like, oh, I'm gonna spend 2 episodes just kind of gloom and just what do I do, blah blah blah, and then like
Yeah, girl with long black hair stares at you out of the corner of her eye and
yeah,
fucking
and then and
lose.
then and then like 10 minutes before the end of the mini arc, right? It's like she has like the girl who has the problem has like a talk with like her manager or like the protagonist or whoever is like the core person, right? And they're like, you're right. At the end of the day, I came here to be a voice actor, and that's all that matters to me. And the problem is solved, or whatever. She's confident now, and I'm glad that like there's a lot more interaction before. There's a lot more other people kind of talking and interacting before that problem gets resolved. I like that sort of like busy. There are other people in this world. They're all interacting. They're talking with me. I like that aspect. I don't like the. I'm getting a little bit tired of the introspective. Oh, I'm just gloomy, blah blah blah. Spend 2 episodes in the mini arc. Go to onto the next mini arc. Oh, I have this other problem. Oh, I can't. I have to keep it a secret from all the other girls. Blah blah blah. I don't. I'm tired of that shit. So it's a slightly good change of pace. I do like that. There's really not that much other to say about the series. It's if you've seen a lot of these multimedia projects, a bunch of girls doing based around X theme, and they're going over each of the girls and their individual problems and how they face it. You'll you'll be very familiar, right? Hatsuka's and the Cinderella, right? The Cinderella Nine, like the baseball thing, anything that involves like a sports team and girls, anything that involves like the idols that you have to raise, anything like girlfriend Cuddy or whatever it is, anything that involves like going through each of the individual girls' problems and stuff like that in a multimedia project, it's pretty much like in line with the template here. And so that aside, the thing
So
yeah,
Spire.
yeah.
How do they fight?
They don't really fight, which is I think
What?
in my opinion
Lame.
they
No
it's
voice
a
actor battles?
No voice actor. There is there. I believe next season there's like an anime based around like the three warring states and the voice actors or whatever it is, right?
What?
The singer battles or
Another
whatever.
Nobunaga?
Yeah,
That-
yeah, yeah. Another.
eh.
Japan never tires of that. It's you know what I mean. It's like
Okay,
it's
but
like
are they gonna
how
have like Sugita and Nakamura as like two opposing heads
that'll
of
be so
state?
good.
Like,
No, not only two opposing heads of state, but no, because the anime was about them being turned into female singers or whatever, right? That would be so great if Sugita Nakamura had to voice female singers.
well,
Dude.
hey, listen, Sugita's got fucking GRS, so like,
Yeah, sure.
like halfway
What?
there.
Yeah. So what I kind of how do I say this? As a like a voice actor otaku kind of stuff, there are two main prevailing views these days, or at least in the marketplace, right, for how voice actors and actresses should behave in the Japanese like voice acting slash anime industry, right? And one is they are performers and artists, right? They perform or do, act out the stuff that they need to act out. And the other sort of way to market it, and this is becoming more and more popular, is the idol stuff. And this is, you are marketing yourself as the brand, right? As the voice, but also as you yourself, uh, you know, the cute girl or the handsome guy with the voice of gold, voice of honey, right? Voice of gold, whatever. Um, so biggest examples of that would be like Miyano Mamoru, Ogura Yui, Hayami Saori, stuff like that, right? Where they're kind of selling themselves, right? And I know I know this anime is based off of a multimedia project that's essentially a voice actress themed idol gotcha game, right? But I still don't like it that much. I mean, I'm okay with like the tone. I'm not even that okay with the tone. It's like I I don't really like the way a lot of these idol series are going, and I also don't like the way that the idol theme was tacked on to the voice actress theme that much in this series. And so if I have to so that's twofold problems, and I'll just explain it real quick, both of these issues. The first problem, which is I don't like the way that idol series or like series that are like sports teams, but it has the girls, and it's like you have to go through each of the girls' problems and stuff like that, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's like they have X amount of girls
Yeah.
in X theme in some theme, and each of the girls are going through the problems, and eventually they all get together and wow, we're gonna get at it, stuff like that. Um, the problems I have with this structure, right, is that the waves are too predictable first of all off, right? And it's like it's always just like we have the cute girl comedy. It's like, oh, where are you going? Don't chase after. Oh, everybody chase after that cat. Oh no, I messed up cooking. And it's like they have the brief moments of like the quote unquote comedy, right? Which is like people don't even try that much these days, the writers.
Yeah.
And then that goes back down into, oh, I'm down in the dumps because I have a secret that I can't tell the others, and that is I'm scared of crowds or whatever the fuck the problem is, right? And it's like that eventually gets resolved pretty much only by through oh, you might be scared, but you have to face your fears because this is the path. This is your life path that you wanted all along. And she becomes, determined and faces her fears. And it's the same sort of like comedy, drama, resolution, wave over and over, three-part resolution or three-part cycle over and over and over again. And I just don't like it because the comedy isn't that funny anymore. I mean, it wasn't really that funny to begin with, but it's also the resolution of the drama is oftentimes not very fun, where it's like it's supposed to be very like wow, inspirational. Wow, she faced her fears and became that voice actor, or became that idol, or became part of that sports team like we all knew she could. It doesn't really have that moral ring to it because a lot of times how people resolve their fears, right? It's just by kind of just doing it and being like, okay, whatever, right? It's not really like people don't always go like, yeah, you know what? I just need to, it's not a fucking like inspirational self-help like speech kind of thing every time, right? People just kind of do it, or like when they mess up, right? People around them are like, "Oh, that's unfortunate. You messed up," right? It's very like regular a lot of times, and people kind of get over it. And it's a very kind of mild, subdued level of resolution. And I wish that more series would show a little bit more of that instead of every single time, there's some sort of small drama, or the girl is troubled by some mistake that she made. It's not always like, oh, I made a mistake. What do I do? And then the resolution always has to be, oh no, but I have to be. This is the career that I picked. I'm gonna stick with all the way. Yeah, like I don't this sort of like drama resolution, very template kind of thing. I'm not a big fan of. So I think they should drop it. I think they should change it up. Whatever. So that was my first problem. And then the second problem is, of course, linking the voice actor thing to the idol stuff, which I don't enjoy. I think I'm pretty firmly on the fact that voice actor and actresses are primarily artists and performers first, and I know it's an easy way to make money, but I think they should be idle second, right? And it's not just me that has this perspective. Some other people, most notably Nakamura Yuichi, right, has shown a sort of distaste for having voice actors and actresses kind of prance around and be idols rather than doing performances, right, and acting out whatever's on the script. And I in this sort of aspect, I obviously again this multimedia project is slightly different because this is more or less just an idle gotcha game. But in the future, when we're talking about voice actor and actress related themed anime, right? I think it would be more okay to run it more just like an office slice of life, or just like a regular kind of subdued thing, because those regular stories and those regular things that happen in everyday life that aren't super dramatic, that aren't super inspirational, that aren't super cathartic, could be just as fun and be just as cool of an anime, in my opinion, as having new voice actress is so excited but she gets stuck, and all these problems and doing all of that. I think just having a regular series without that much drama and just having regular people going through the voice acting stuff would be nice. And I just wish that more series were like that. Like, I mean, even without all this drama, there are plenty of funny stories in the voice acting industry, even in real life, right? I just when I was thinking about what to say for this series, I actually remembered this one funny story where because one of the episodes was for Q, right? Was about auditions. I mean, a lot of them are about auditions, right? Because voice acting auditions, but it was about like, what is it? Like, oh, why is this one girl being instructed to try all these different voices? And then they're talking about how like some voice actors and actresses get hired for like different roles, or roles that she didn't choose or whatever, and they have like a small talk about that. And um there was this what is it, story that I remembered from years ago, right? And this was on the K Project. If K Project anime, the anime that involved a bunch of like handsome, like not like gay boys. I believe two of them were pretty gay for each other, but it's like,
Bishi, yeah.
yeah. There it's like it was a lot of like handsome men, like just kind of like sword battling each other, or battling each other with powers and stuff like that. So there was a radio and with the voice actors, and there was a it was the guest was Suda Kenjiro. It was Ono Daisuke, Suda Kenjiro, voice actor for Japanese voice actor for Seto Kaiba in Yu-Gi-Oh. Sugeto Tomokazu, no explanation needed, and Ono Daisuke, obviously again also no explanation needed. And they were actually talking about the auditions for K Project, right? And they were saying like, oh, we got all these. You were going through the auditions as per usual, but there was this one character that they got, and the director was just like, "Why don't you try reading the script for this guy?" And this guy was named, or in the series, this guy was named Kamamoto Rikyo. And Dark, I'll put the picture of this guy on in here so you can actually post it in front. So
All right, yeah.
so it's like this fat dude with like a hood and just like chains, and all he does like half the time is just like he just like screams like the red side's like no blood, no bones, no ash, and he's like very like he's like very aggressive, and every single one of them, what Suda Kenjiro, Sugita Tomokazu, and Ono Daisuke were like, "Oh man, what the hell is up with this guy? I want to take this role." everybody auditioned specifically for this role because they really wanted this guy for this guy. This like not even like he's not even one of the main characters, by the way. He's just like he's like a random supporting character, like fat dude with chains. And all of them were like, "Okay, I need to get this role. I need to get this role." All of them failed it. All of them failed to get the role, and the one who got it was Nakamura Yuichi, actually.
Of course.
And they were just like, "Yeah, figures that freaking Nakamura gets the cool role." But yeah, these guys, Tsuda Kenjiro, Tomokazu Sugita, and On Daisuke, had probably 3 of like the most important roles in the series, and they were all like, "No, I don't want this role. I want the guy with the hood, the fat guy with the hood. I want that role because that guy has cool lines." So that's like these stories, these funny stories in real life, in my opinion, are they add. They're plenty funny enough. They're plenty cool enough so that I think you could have these sorts of stories instead of doing idle stuff every time and being like, "Oh man, oh I'm so nervous. How do I do this?" After a while, that sort of idle anime premise gets, and drama and like cathartic resolution gets tiring after a while. And I just think it would be much cooler to hear these sorts of stories or have them be kind of enacted um in an anime, right? And just having more like Dilbert, The Office, that sort of like regular style like series. And it's a pity that more and more of these are kind of becoming multimedia adaptations. More and more of these are becoming idle anime series kind of stuff. And I just, if there's one thing that I would like to point out, it's just this: I'd like to see more regular series, so to say. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had about Q anime. There's not much to say. If you've seen, if you've seen a standard, yeah,
Let me say, Spire.
yes,
Who would win in a fight?
Who-
Hololive or what's this called again? Q.
Q, yeah.
Who would win in a fight? Who would win in a voice actor fight? Because
Well, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the whole life people wouldn't voice
because
actor.
Shirakami Fubuki and Natsuya Matsuri are official voice actors now.
Well, yes, they are now.
Well,
The
and
real
actually,
deal.
Yeah.
so is Nene and the Subaru apparently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's
and Shigeru Ui apparently. Like, sure, throw
yeah.
her in there too.
But yeah, there's really not much else to say about the series. Again, if you've watched the standard like idol gotcha
Why do
anime
they have to be
series.
idols? And are voice actors like naturally idols, or are idols naturally
Well,
voice
again,
actors?
that's the more modern, like it's the growth in cultures, right? Whereas like before, even I want to
But
say,
are voice actors modern now? It's all about VTubers, Spire.
yeah,
Where's the
VTubers.
VTube?
Yeah,
Well,
voice acting is old and busted, dude.
who
That's
cares?
true. Nobody will voice act anymore.
It
That's
has
true.
to be a
Dying. Yeah, it's
VTuber.
a dying medium.
But if you've seen one kind of like
What's
have a
it?
bunch
What's
of
it? What's it better than, and what's it worse than?
there's I don't know if I can
Yeah,
make a
and do
list
you
right now.
think that Miyano Mamoru did more damage than good to his career when he won Tokyo Encounter?
That's a good question. But
Which one of them will go to an ancient Japanese war site and
God
cause
damn
another
it! Don't
Russia?
make that reference, man.
Which one of them is going to arrest Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, exactly. Which one of them is going to deny the Holocaust is a real question. Is the $1 million question.
Yeah.
But
Wasn't that one of those e-girls
I have
that
no
was a
idea.
No,
Holocaust denier?
that was the
No,
fucking
it's the Isekai. It's
it
the
was the
Isekai thing.
director for
No,
I
it was
mean
the author. It was
there
the
was
author.
there was the isekai guy as well.
Hmm.
Fucking like
Oh, there
Chinese
were
like
like multiple
the
people.
like
Yeah, yeah,
Chinese Slayer dude or whatever.
yeah,
But
yeah. The samurai who
there
gets yeah.
yeah, but
What is it? Nidome Jinsei? Is that it?
the big one was
Yeah.
the director for the like Neat Girl series. Remember?
Oh no, I know what you're talking about.
Which one?
The one where it's like the character is pink and like whatever, right? The guy plays the female character or no? Yeah,
Netju.
Netsuji no Susume. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the director for the anime in that one was a
Second.
Holocaust denier. Like open
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
very public Holocaust denier.
Yeah, exactly.
Um so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was not great. But anyways, yeah, if you've seen or like experienced a standard like idol series or like like have X number of girls in an X theme, right? Right? Again, like Hachikatsu no Cinderella 9 or something like that. Uh or Idolmaster or like Love Live, you've played these games, or you've seen the anime adaptations, you know what this shit's like. So that's pretty much all I had to say about Q. And yeah, that was my final series to review for the Winter 2022 season. Last but not least, we move over to Nier. What do you have for us?
Wow. So I watched uh what is this? Sabikui Bisco.
Yes,
Um also known in English as Rust Eater Bisco. Um
it's a good name to be honest.
yeah. This is a what studio is this? This is Studio Oz. I think they're a new studio. I'm
Hmm.
not too sure if they're like an offshoot
Yeah,
or
this is
something.
like their first like main series, I think.
Yeah. Um, and this is a light novel original. Um,
Yes.
it's I guess, sort of like a post-apocalyptic action series. Um, where so far, I've watched like there's like 10 episodes out. I've watched like 7, 8, I think. Um, but they haven't really gone into like the apocalypse like event of this series so far. They've made some references to it, but essentially what they show is like Japan fucking exploded, as it does in
It's very
uh
standard these days.
yeah, and after which there was this um strange wind that gives that gives people
Was
and
it a fart?
uh no, it's just a wind.
Like
Um
like 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 what is it? Like the blast force from a nuclear bomb kind of wind?
uh I don't know. They just call it a wind. Like it's like a persistent thing. It's not just like it's not like it was a one time like oh, just after the explosion this happened. Like apparently it's just a thing in the world. But there's this wind that gives people this plague sort of thing called the rusting. And what it is essentially it starts on the skin and it looks like rust, right? Like metal rusting. And over time, it spreads throughout the body, and eventually it gets to the organs, and the organs will shut down uh, and stop working, right? So it's basically just a plague that has a strange like, appearance to it, right? And a lot of um, I guess like afterwards, a lot of the cities and districts in Japan sort of became these like the classic post-apocalyptic like walled cities, right?
Mhm.
Um, and they sort of shut down. But I guess outside of those cities, there were uh, this group of people that sort of learned. They really don't go into it too deep, but they sort of learned this strange technique to control mushrooms. Because after the apocalypse, one of the only like forms of life that learned to adapt to the rusting was mushrooms, right? Um,
Mhm.
and apparently, mushrooms are able to essentially absorb the rust and feed off of it, right? And so there's sort of this purifying force. Um, obviously, a very slow acting purifying force. Like they say, like you know, a big ass mushroom will take years and years and years to sort of reduce the amount of rust that's like in the air in a certain area, but they do sort of feed off of it. Um, and these people are called like mushroom keepers or whatever. Um, and that's what the main character, Akaboshi Bisco, is. He's a mushroom keeper, and he uses his bow and arrow, and wherever his arrows land, mushrooms, like big ass fucking mushrooms, just explode out of whatever he shoots, right?
Okay.
And the main sort of, I guess, initial premise is Bisco is looking for this magical, legendary mushroom called the Rust Eater, right? And essentially, it's a mushroom that eats rust like super fast, right? So
Right.
anybody that has the rusting, um, it essentially cures them, right? And the reason he's looking for this is because his mentor, who's basically his father, has the rusting pretty bad, right? He doesn't have long to live. So they're journeying north to, I think it was to Akita, which I guess is like where the last like rust eaters were seen or whatever. Um, to help cure him. And as he's adventuring, to get there, he comes across the deuteragonist, which is Nekoyanagi Milo, which is the blue-haired uh, protagonist who's got this weird, like, he's got this weird black eye,
Okay.
and he's gotten the nickname like Panda because of it. Um, they never really go into why he has that. He just has it. Uh, just a birthmark or something. I don't know. Um, but he's a doctor, and his sister, um, who's like she's like captain of like the city watch or whatever in the city they're in. Um,
Yeah.
she has the rusting super bad as well, right? Like she
Oh,
doesn't
okay, okay, okay.
she doesn't have long to live either, and so circumstances eventually end up like um essentially they start traveling together to look for the rust eater, and adventures ensue, right? Um,
The thing is like, are they also trying to fight over it between themselves, or is there enough mushroom to go
no.
around?
As far as so the way they set it up is Bisco himself is like he's a good fighter, but he cannot synthesize medicines from the mushrooms to save his life, right?
Hmm.
So there he takes Milo with him, um, because he's a doctor, right? And he
Right.
can synthesize the medicines. So the idea is they find the rust eater, they synthesize the medicine, and then they can both, I guess, the injection seems to just be like a very small amount needed. So I
Hmm.
guess like they just need the one to
Right.
synthesize enough to treat like a bunch of people or whatever. But yeah,
It's
um,
like One Piece, like everybody's looking for it.
no, it seems like just these two are looking for it. So the way they set it up is, um, within the cities, it's sort of being propagated that the mushroom keepers are the ones spreading the rust, right?
Mm.
It's been
Okay.
sort of propagandized as uh, like the mushroom keepers are terrorists, and wherever they
Right. Right.
plant
Right.
uh, the mushrooms is where rust spreads. And the reason that this has been able to be propagated is that whenever mushroom keepers go around, wherever they find spots that are heavy in rust, they will plant mushrooms because obviously mushrooms feed off of resin, and it will
Right.
slowly, de-rust the area, I guess. But yeah, the propaganda has been spread by, I guess, the villain of this series, which is I guess they call him like the governor of like district or whatever.
Mhm.
He's named Kurokawa, and he's of course voiced by Suda Kenjiro.
Mm.
Um,
Classic.
yeah, and he hasn't had like too much to do with the series so far. He's kind of just been like the antagonizing force in the beginning, and then they've sort of slowly brought him in, like as it goes along later. And he wants Bisco dead for reasons. Um, but yeah, for the most part, it's mostly been just like post-apocalyptic adventuring. Finding this legendary mushroom, and
So, the
it's
the
quite good.
thing the thing I wanted to point out, which was interesting from our discussion just now, right, is that again, it's not like a One Piece situation where everybody's trying to find this mushroom, right? It's more of just
Yep.
like a journey kind of thing. So, is it generally more like is it generally more of a quote unquote peaceful journey kind of thing, like a Natsumi Yujincho or like a
No,
um because
it's it's it's
the
it, it's
reason
an
why I
action.
say that
Um,
the reason why I say that is because it's one thing if like there's perpetual conflict driven by again everybody trying to find the mushroom or whatever, right? But what is the how do I say this? What is the source of conflict? Is it really like varied every
um,
time, or like what's going on here?
it's pretty varied. It varies from in the initial episodes, the source of conflict is the fact that they're in the city, right? And they're
Right.
fighting, the city guard. They're fighting the governor dude's like personal mafia, stuff
Okay.
like that. And then as they exit the city, it gets a lot more varied. It varies from and so the coolest part about this series, in my
Mhm.
opinion, is the world, right? This
Okay.
world is very, very, very unique. And a lot of it comes down to its aesthetic, right?
Mhm.
A lot of like, I don't even know if you could really call it technology, but like a lot of stuff in this series world is sort of just like strapping shit onto gigantic animals.
So
And
it's like shittier steampunk. It's like caveman punk.
yeah. So the main characters, like their main source of transportation is a giant crab. And like the giant crab has a name, Akutagawa,
Mhm.
and he's basically like, you know, they say like he's part of the family, right?
Mhm.
Um and yeah,
It's
this
like arc.
giant
It's like arc.
yeah, this giant red crab is like the main character's main source of like transportation, and like he fights too. Like they call him a steel crab or whatever. Like he's harder than steel or whatever. He's basically fucking bulletproof, right?
Mhm.
Um, but like the one of the first like action encounters that we see is Bisco. He's trying to get through this like checkpoint, right? And he's trying to bluff his way through by pretending to be a monk, right?
Mhm.
um, and eventually they get caught and they have to like fight their way through. But like when they get caught, the forces that get deployed are hippos with Gatling guns on their backs, right?
That's so good.
Yeah, and so like a lot of the encounters, like the first encounter, like action encounter that they get out of after getting out of the city is they find this shrine, right? And they camp there for the night, but then they get woken up in the middle of the night because the shrine is actually on the back of this gigantic like uh shellfish, right?
Mhm.
And it gets woken up and it like tries to attack them because it's got like fucking guns and shit strapped to it as well. Because it's basically like the size of a mountain.
Mhm.
Um, and they have to like essentially smash its head in and make it explode with mushrooms to make it stop. But yeah, like a lot of the like action and conflict and encounters so far have been like the wildlife and um, Milo's sister, right? So Milo's sister, after like they get out of the city, Milo's sister like chases after them and sort of fights with them every once in a while. Um, but yeah, like a lot of the action so far has kind of just been like circumstantial, like oh they get wrapped up in something. Like one is they find this village where it's all children, right? Like all of the adults had to uh like they got like I forget what it was, but they basically got like chased off because either uh like the mafia like group or whatever that the governor has was like extorting them for like medicine or like whatever or they were arresting or right whatever, right? And so
Mhm.
all that's left is the kids. And they essentially say like every winter these giant blowfish come along and like try to eat a bunch of the kids, and every winter some of them get like caught, right?
Mhm.
And they're running out of weapons to like fight these blowfish, right? And so the main characters like end up like helping them with that. um but yeah, a lot of the conflict is it's not like oh like you're after this thing too, well we have to fight now, right? It's sort of them just getting swept up in things. So it feels a lot more like a, it feels like an adventure, right?
Right, right.
And it's fun, is the main thing. Yeah, like again, this series' world is just it's fun. It
I
doesn't
th
take
I think
itself super
I think the
seriously.
important Oh, really? It's like it has the end thing where it's like, yeah, there's like a serious condition and there's like this villain boss who
Yeah.
keeps
So
like but
yeah,
it's
the
like but the
initial the
general
initial
tone of
premise
but it's like
and
let's put this like aside a little bit. It's
yeah,
kind of
it's
like
got
that,
a
yeah.
it's got a lot of slapstick comedy. One of
Mhm.
the more reoccurring characters is this pink-haired girl named Chiro, and
Mhm.
initially she was one of the mafia uh, people, right? And eventually she leaves the mafia, and she's like a very uh, like the series says she's led a life of negative karma, right? So she's constantly getting into these like horrible situations where she needs to be saved, basically, and she constantly runs into the main characters and needs to be helped out in some way, and it's sort of a but she's like a traveling merchant after she's left the mafia, right? So she sort of helps them out whenever they help her out and stuff. So, but a lot of the like banter between her and the main characters is like very slapstick, like you know, I didn't need your help anyway, kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's very lighthearted, and it's a very fun series, even though obviously it does have its serious moments. It's got a somewhat serious like end goal, right? Of saving the main characters, like the people that are close to them from this rusting thing. Um, and it's got like the mafia stuff going on. But yeah, it's very lighthearted and it's not very like it doesn't take itself seriously, which is super super. It's good because
I
this
think the
the
important thing
series
is
like world is very goofy as well, right? Because you've got
right.
the main characters like power basically is making giant fucking mushrooms pop out of shit, right? So um
I think the important thing is also that in a usually like the modern trend here is right. It's like there's been this like bifurcation, right? And it's either diverged into again very kind of like standard journey kind of stuff with like there's like problems along the way, right? Where it's like Majo no Tabi Tabi, Kino no Tabi, Spice and Wolf, whatever. Like there are
yeah,
troubles and stuff, like there are problems, but it's not like constant like bam, boom, bang, let's go kind of stuff. It's like get in the chopper. It's not like those vibes, right?
yeah,
It's more it's pretty like you solve the problem, you kind of move on. There are some problems that you need to kind of like use your brain to get through, stuff like that. And then there's like the other end where you know, um, you're kind of quote unquote traveling, but a lot of times it feels like you're facing the same sort of enemies or like the same sort of villains are chasing you. right? And it's like you're constantly having to fight them all the time, right? And if from what I'm hearing, from what you're talking about the series, it sounds like Bisco has a very interesting
Yeah,
balance.
it sort of
Yeah, it's a
strikes
good
right in
balance,
the
right?
middle.
Right,
It's
right.
very cool.
Mhm.
I can't really think of
That's
many
very hard to
series.
do.
Yeah, I can't think of
Yeah,
many series that have had like sort of like it's got the action packed like
yeah.
set pieces and
But it's not like Team
explosions and
Rocket chasing you like every
yeah,
fucking minute. Yeah,
it's not like it's constantly like these mafia dudes. Oh, we got to deal with them, every episode. Like
yeah.
it's very varied. Like it's they stumble on into like a monster's nest or this
Mhm.
big thing wakes up and they've got to fight it or
It's a
you
little bit
know
more PV. It's mostly.
this group of this village or whatever is in danger and we need to help them out.
Mhm.
It feels like it's the adventure like piece, but
Mhm.
it's got the bombastic nature of like an action series,
Right,
and
right, right.
it's a really good balance. And again, it's not super serious, and the world is very very unique, right?
Mhm.
It's this post-apocalyptic thing where, and obviously because it's post-apocalyptic, they can do all these like varied um, environments, right? Like you can have these grassy fields. Like one of the first places they go to when they leave the city is like this big grassy field where I forget what they call them, but there's these like floating, like almost like anti-gravity, like balls of like grass. Um, and they say like during the day these things like they suck up the sun's light and then at night they glow, right?
Mhm.
um but then that attracts like animals and stuff at night too, so they don't want to hang around, right?
Right,
um
right.
but then later on they go to this um it's almost like what are those things called, like the white like deserts, right? The salt beds or whatever. um
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like that, and like that's where they find the village of the kids, right? And
Mhm.
like it's this stark white, uh, sort of like desert kind of thing, but it's got like these like ruined buildings sticking up every once in a while. It's you know it's a cool aesthetic, right? Especially when you have, you know, like the technology where it's just like animals with shit sticking out of them, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's it's not like the most unique thing I've ever seen, but it is interesting. Um, and the fact that a lot of the action revolves around using like mushrooms to catapult themselves off of stuff and shooting uh these giant blowfish out of the air and having mushrooms explode out of them. Like it's it's not something that like I've ever really seen. Like you don't really see like even the action that takes place between like two like human characters, right? A lot of it
Mhm.
is like the way Bisco fights is like he'll shoot a character like another person's weapon and break it with mushrooms, right? It's like it's not really something that you see. Like
That's pretty good.
you don't even see like bow and arrow action very often in anime. But like the
Mhm.
fact that it's like bow and arrow plus like mushrooms, it's just so it's such a strange concept, but it works
Right.
really really well.
Right,
Um,
and it provides the action while still being having that sort of comedic twist at the same time. And
yeah,
then you also have the almost like I want to say almost trigger-ish like ambitions in these sorts of like
yeah,
or like production IG sort of like where it's like you have the monsters kind of coming in, they're grand in scale, and you're like, oh shit, we got to defeat these monsters,
yeah.
right? It's like
Um,
kaiju kind of
and
shit. Yeah,
it's very well animated too.
yeah,
Like the audio visuals are very very good,
yeah. I saw some of
and
it. It was good.
and also the this soundtrack in this series is very very it's very unique. Um, there's a lot of like a lot of the action tracks are like this weird like metal, like screamo metal. It's very weird. And then there's a lot of like more like a lot of the more slice of life tracks are like this weird like funk, jazz or whatever. It's a very strange soundtrack, but it's really good. Um, yeah, it's just a really weird series, but it's very fun to watch. Like the fun, I think, is the key word. It's not like
Yeah,
it's not like this most original or gripping story you're gonna watch, but it's fun. It's really fun.
it's very obvious in that it's trying to just stick to its guns and
Yeah,
not and the guns are not serious at all. It's like the stuff that it's trying to it's very like obvious, like it's telling you, hey, this isn't very serious. Like you
yeah.
just gotta roll with it, which is good, which is fine.
Yeah, the
You
character interactions are very good, very slapstick. Yeah, it's good. It's a good series all around.
know?
And I would really recommend it to really anybody that like they like more actiony stuff or whatever. It's just good. Um, yeah, I really like this series. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was, I was a little bit afraid maybe it would get kind of I know honestly ends up like what I talked about with Orient, right? Where it's like a lot of it's kind of just
yeah,
aimless. It's kind of going nowhere, or like stuff where it's like even if it was like Journey would be okay, but it's like it just kind of devolves into a lot of meaningless like just do random action stuff and things
yeah.
are
I
happening
mean,
there and whatever. It's
it's
like
got that thing like I was saying when we were talking about Orient, right? It's got
yeah.
the goal, and regardless of how long it takes for them to get to that goal, the
Mhm.
fact that they have that goal is really all it needs, right? Because
Right, exactly.
they have the goal, and even if they're constantly having to take detours or being diverted or distracted or whatever, right?
Mhm.
At the end of the day, at the end of the episode, like the characters are like, we have made progress towards our goal, no matter how small, right?
Right, exactly.
And that's really all you need. Even if it's an adventure series, right? Like all you need is that tiny step every episode.
Right.
Um, but yeah, like this is it's a good show. I like it.
I'm really glad that we got you to check it out and review it properly. I know again we had our own suspicions, right? Where it's like we all had we were like this is probably likely to be one of the better shows of the series potentially. It had one of the more unique premises. I'm
Yeah,
glad that
there's always that doubt in the back of your mind, right? Especially with
yeah, I
action
mean,
series,
Japan,
especially with like
Japan. We've gone through
post-apocalyptic.
so many series where it's like there's been good premises, but it's ended up being limp dick like halfway
Yeah,
through, and we're like, uh. Japan knows a billion and one ways to sink a good premise. So it
yeah.
was
But this one's good. Like it's the key word is fun. Like
yeah.
it's pure entertainment. Like,
All right. Well, thank you very much, Nier, for helping to cover Rust Eater Bisco, aka Sabikui Bisco. And with that, we are going to move on real quickly to the news. Most of it's just like brief like awards kind of stuff, and then we're gonna move on real quickly to our shoutouts and callouts right afterwards. So please bear with me. I'm gonna be going through this a little bit quicker than usual. First, the Japanese government's Agency of Cultural Affairs announced the winners of the 72nd Minister of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, and Technology Fine Arts Recommendation Awards on Wednesday. Game designer Hideo Kojima won the Cabinet Minister Award in the Media Fine Arts category surprise, while
wow.
Woku, Woku, the Inner Chambers manga creator Yoshinaga Fumi, won the Newcomer Award in the same category. So I believe that manga is about the whole thing where it's like instead of having the females being like what is it? It's like females being like the courtesans or whatever. They have the men
Oh
become
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
For the
yeah. That
the
was the
Shogun or
one.
whatever.
yeah,
I
the women are
remember
the shogun and the
that.
men
Yeah,
are like the beautiful like courtesans or whatever.
Oh
yeah.
But yeah.
no, no! Don't have sex with me, no!
But yeah, pretty. I think this one won a couple of other awards as well. I might want to take a look at it, but yeah, pretty interesting. Hideo Kojima winning awards, obviously not that surprising. Next, on some more not surprising stuff, the Japan Academy Film Prize Association for Excellence in Film revealed on Friday that Evangelion, the new Evangelion Thrice Upon a Time, Shin Evangelion Kekujoban anime film won the Animation of the Year award at the 45th Annual Japan Academy Film Prizes. Surprise!
Yay, new
Evangelion.
Evangelion award came
Please
out.
give Evangelion
Woo!
more award. Yeah. The other nominees were Bell, Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, Fortune Favors Lady Nikko, and Sing a Bit of Harmony. I feel like Bell could have maybe like threatened it, but yeah, Evangelion is like
Sorry, buddy. Evangelion
sorry,
exists.
Evangelion. Evangelion exists. We have to give it the award. Mamoru Hosoda's Bell, Ryu Tosobukasu no Hime anime film won the Best Music Award. The Association on the film's composers, Ludwig Forssell, Taisei Iwasaki, and Yuta Bando. The Evangelion movie also won the Popularity Award. Wow, that's so surprising.
Wow.
And a bunch of other stuff, but congratulations to Evangelion. Let's see this. Oh, this one is pretty interesting. The Japanese government's Ministry of Cultural Affairs announced the winners of the 25th Japan Media Arts Festival Awards on Sunday. The Naoki Urasawa Presents Manben no Yoshikazu Yasuhiko program won the Entertainment Division's Grand Prize. The festival also awarded Polygon Pictures president and CEO Shota Shuzo and professor and manga creator Belny? Yeah, Belny with a Special Achievement Award. The award winners in the animation division and manga division include, let's see, The Fourth Wall, animated short film by Mabube Kawai from Iran. Let's see this. Dozens of Norths, anime film by Kamamura Koji. Fortune Favors Lady Nikko by Akashia Sanma and Watanabe Ayumu. I should probably check this one out. Letter to a Pig, short film by Tal Kantor of Israel, and Sunny Boy, anime series by Natsume Shingo. So, if those series seem interesting to you, there's a lot of other awards and manga series. So please check out the winners of the 25th Japan Media Arts Festival Awards. A little bit of funny awards kind of stuff on the side. The Japanese government's Ministry of Cultural Affairs announced on Sunday that the jury has selected the moving life-size RX-782 Gundam statue in the Gundam Factory Yokohama facility as a recommended work in the entertainment division of the 25th Japan Media Arts Festival Awards. It was actually put as a life-size Gundam candidate, or the life-size Gundam figure, or the statue, I guess, is actually a candidate for the awards for the Japan Media Arts Festival Awards. So,
I
yeah,
mean, it's pretty impressive.
that is true. So, yeah, that was all for awards. And a little bit on the other news. 8 former and current Sony Interactive Entertainment employees have added their accounts to a proposed class action lawsuit against Sony PlayStation, accusing the company of sexual harassment and discrimination. Former IT security analyst Emma Maggio filed a lawsuit for gender discrimination and wrongful termination in November 2021 on behalf of all women who have worked for the company. However, Sony denied Maggio's claims and filed to dismiss the complaint, stating that there was a lack of specific facts of "quote unquote" any widespread intentional discrimination or any discriminatory impact on women. So, you know how this plays out. The women
Yeah,
are
I for
probably
one am
right,
shocked they
and
did not
yeah, and
accept
they're gonna.
reality.
Yeah,
Reality
exactly.
likely is.
It's probably reality that the women are probably right,
Listen, they
and then the
only
company is gonna.
just found out that there was an equal opportunity law passed 50 years ago in Japan.
50 I
Okay, like
can't
you only just figured that
believe
out. You
I
have
s-
to give them time to adjust.
Wait
I
a minute.
still
Are you telling me I can't discriminate against women?
Yeah, as an
when was
Since
this
aside,
law made? When
since
was this?
when?
When was this made? Excuse me.
as an
God.
aside, recently that what's it called? That shit with what is it? From Software came out where it's like, in 2012, like some people put on like what is it, Glassdoor? They gave them like bad reviews because they were like, yeah, pay's not great, hours are bad. I feel like I was mistreated as a woman. Shit like that. And then what's his name? Like so many people were like talking about it and like blowing it up, and they were like, "Oh, they're only making 38,000 USD like a year." It's like fucking what's his name from He used to be working with the DMC series a lot. He
Mm.
was like the translator and stuff who would come out on stage. I
Yeah.
think he was there. He was there when the DMC was back. Happened, and he was like, yeah, newsflash. This is all of Japan. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
this is all of Japan. Like, this needs to change on a like
That's just the
national
corporate
level.
culture, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
systemic
it's
based.
like he was basically like there are a lot of changes that need to happen at like a government level for this to not be fucking happening at every company.
Pretty much.
And yeah, and then I had linked I was like, yeah, like fucking look at this shit, and I linked the White Fox thing, and he was like, yeah, kind of expected. Like, oh, we didn't know, like
Yeah.
50-year-old law, whoa, and it's like, I just feel like ultimately it's like unless the Japanese government is going to take like a much harsher and like hard stance on these things, it's not gonna matter. Like,
Yeah.
companies ultimately are going to do whatever they can to discriminate and
Yeah. I mean, as much as they can treat employees like not human beings, they will push the envelope as far as fucking physically possible.
Yeah, it's capitalism. It's just how this
Yeah.
shit works. So,
How
but
dares?
yeah, it's unfortunate. But anyways, that's pretty much all we have for not awards. What the hell for news? Just a little bit of an aside on this. While we're talking about not being very friendly towards women. Tatsuhisa Suzuki, the man of the man after the most tail in the world, the man who cheated on Lisa, I
Yeah.
believe. He is back from hiatus, after probably not reflecting much on his actions, but he is back.
yeah, well,
And
I mean, I think you're beyond reflection when you cheat on fucking so
yeah, yeah. And then
I
also
don't think
on
there's a
the
whole lot there that can
yeah,
happen.
and not much in the brain cells, yeah. And on the same pretty much in the same sort of 2 weeks, what is it? The official website for internet musical group Strawberry Prince announced on Friday that the group's leader Nanamori is going on an indefinite hiatus following a YouTuber's expose about his personal life, specifically regarding an affair. Nanamori confirmed on Twitter on Monday that he cheated on his partner, with whom he has a child with another woman. He apologized for his actions for not reporting on it sooner and for attempting to conceal this information. He revealed that he is thinking about what the actions will be moving forward while he is on hiatus. So yeah, don't do that shit. Anyways, that's all the news we had for today, and we are finally on the track towards our shoutouts and callouts. And with this, everybody gets one shout out and one call out each. And shout out is something that you want to praise, 5 out of 5 stars, rave reviews on Yelp, and can be any one person, place, or thing. And the call outs are the exact opposite, something that you want to rant and rave about, something that you want to stomp like a cockroach to the ground. And it is one person, place, or thing that you want to rant or be angry about. And we start off with Near.
Um. Well, I think I'll start off. I'll start off on a bit of a somber note. I'm gonna call out the fact that recently, um, Akira Takarada, um, who was a pretty prolific actor in very early tokusatsu stuff. He was basically like the main star for the original Godzilla.
Mhm.
And he starred in many Godzilla movies afterwards and many tokusatsu movies afterwards. Running through, you know, like the 50s to the 70s basically, and I think even after like the 90s, he reprised some roles in sequel Godzilla movies. But recently he passed, um,
Mhm.
and was very sad to see, because I'm a very big Godzilla fan, and it's very very sad to see when someone that's essentially being in just a shitload of movies that I grew up with uh, to pass on. He was 87, so it was it was
Yeah.
a good age, but
Right.
still, it's sad to see. Um,
Sure.
but yeah, as for shoutouts, let me think. I feel like I'm going to shout out uh, Platinum Games for having the absolute fucking balls, the absolute gall to release a tweet that said, "No, we are in fact not shutting Babylon's Fall down." Like a week after release, because that game peaked, I believe, on Steam charts at like what, 1,000 players.
It was like 1192,
Yeah.
something like that.
So that game bombed, like really as hard as you could possibly imagine. I think it's like a full price game, and
It
it's like
is
full of microtransactions.
just like
Uh,
monetized that has
yeah,
ever
it
been made.
it, it looks like dog shit. It doesn't look like it plays very well. I could be wrong on that. I don't fucking know, but it doesn't look too hot mechanically. But yeah, they recently released a tweet that essentially said, um, "No, we're not going to shut the game down. In fact, we have multiple seasons worth of content prepared. Um, so we'll go as long as we can." Not a good, uh, not really a good thing to tweet like a week after your game launches. But props to them for I guess having the nuts to fucking be like, yeah, our game's fucking dead, but we'll keep going. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Okay, so thank you for your shout and call out. Dark?
I think I'll oh, shoutouts to shoutouts to Fortnite, removing building, cool. Put it out. Please. Give me some way to keep playing this game with building not in it. Like infinite stamina and no building. Make it a more movement based game. It's cooler. So yeah. Game's pretty good right now. Got a lot of cool stuff. So hopefully when building returns, it's in a very like weird, not even remotely similar manner. One can pray.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
The whole like
I
building
get
issue
like
has been an issue for
people
a
are like,
while.
oh man, it's what sets it apart, and it's like, and it sucks. Like, it fucking blows. Dude, like,
I think building could maybe be a thing, but it should definitely be much more limited than it is right
yeah,
now.
it should be an option where like you are deep in the fucking zone, you have nothing to do, and you suspect you're gonna be towards the end. Build up some shit, set down some traps, and hope to God that someone runs into them.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. I don't think an optimal like fucking
We're thinking a
gameplay
little bit more like
is like,
Rust in that sense, right?
yeah,
So,
like I don't think an optimal gameplay loop for battle royale is like someone gets shot once and they build a fucking fortress around them that you have to shoot through. Like, cool. Like I'm alright with like the regen overshield, and like it's it's a far more fun game. Your objective is shoot people, not fucking shoot a guy. You do barely any damage to him. He builds a fucking massive fortress around himself, and now you're 1v1ing him in this tower for the next like 30 seconds. Yeah, I don't know. I just think the feeling of that and the feeling of like shooting walls down and shit just feels terrible when you're fighting. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand why people are like, oh, you can't take the building away. It's the unique part. But there's a limit to how much building there is
I mean,
relative to how much like
I
shooting.
feel like at this
Yeah.
point it's like, is it the? It's not even like the only thing that sets it apart anymore. Like everyone knows Fortnite style. Everyone knows like fucking it's like wild as fuck crossovers. Like the final character of the new battle pass is Doctor Strange. Like in and then in a month they're releasing Prowler, like from Spider-Man. Like, like, but also like that's the type of shit that I feel like sets Fortnite more apart than being like, oh, dude, it's the building. It's like, oh,
That is
not
true.
really, because it's not really the building when they nerf the shit out of it, like constantly. The whole fucking point, like building literally was only ever in the BR because it was in the fucking base survival game. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
I just feel like they need to figure out a way to make it so that like, you shooting at someone, this fight is now a gunfight. This is not a fucking build fight anymore. Like, and it
Yeah,
cannot turn into one.
the build or the shooting aspect is definitely much more
Because like
important.
the gunplay of the game, very very good. I think guns have really good recoil, really good sound effects and animations. So it's like I want I want shooting to be the focus of the battle royale. Call me crazy. Also, yeah, the new like sprint into like a big leap on top of like and then like vaulting onto things like climbing stuff feels way fucking better than let me fucking switch to my build mode and build like a staircase to get up places. Well, hopefully it stays this way.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you for your shout out and call out.
I didn't call out nothing yet.
Oh wait, yeah, wait, no, yeah, this is.
My shout out is
I
for
kept thinking
Fortnite
that
for
this is your
getting rid
call
of
out. Yeah,
building. Get the
fucking.
fuck out of here with that shit.
Anyway, sorry.
Building
I thought
gone?
you.
Good.
This is because we ranted about building for so long. I
Oh,
thought you were like doing it in the middle of your call
tiny,
outs. Yeah.
tiny shout out as well. Still to Fortnite. Pretty cool that Epic's putting literally all proceeds of the game like aid to Ukraine.
hmm
Like apparently all of the proceeds from now until April 3rd. That includes battle pass purchases. Every purchase is going to that. Which is kind of nuts. Like that's a lot of money. So
Yeah,
pretty
it's always good.
cool of them.
Yeah, it's always good to have more companies support the cause for Ukraine. So
Don't worry, I'll probably call out Tim Sweeney to balance this out in like a fucking next episode because I'll probably do something stupid. So,
yeah. What was your call out here?
uh, that's a really good. Oh, I think I'm gonna call out. Oh, call out fucking the what is it? Stranger of Paradise fucking PC port. It's awful. Like I literally couldn't even. I could play it and get a stable frame rate, but then my audio was awful in it. Everything sounded like it was being like Paul stretched and muffled. Like it sounded like the effect of if your character just had like a grenade go off near their fucking ear. Just everything muffled and like
The fuck?
yeah, I wasn't looking at my GPU usage, but apparently chances are it was at like 100%. which
Yeah, pretty
It-
much every
it's
single person I've seen playing Stranger of Paradise on PC has reported either the absolute inability to reach 60 frames per second, and or the fact that the game is using 100% of the GPU at all time,
What?
which is not
which
not good.
yeah, like normally like a game using 100% of my GPU literally doesn't matter to me because it'll still stay cool. And I have a 3080 Ti, so get the most recent game that I've had use 100% of it in only certain scenarios is a maxed out Elden Ring with reshade on and the reshade ray tracing shader. Like that is a beta test shader that a reshade developer is making. So like that's what it takes to get my GPU to 100% in some scenarios. Still stays cool, but it's like baseline fucking Stranger of Paradise should not be putting any stress on this GPU. So Godspeed to anyone who has anything lesser, because I can't imagine it will play very nice. Or fucking like, not melt the damn.
Yeah.
And yeah, just be nice for Square Enix to release a game on PC that runs well. Runs it all.
All right. Well, that's a yeah, that's a little bit of might be a higher hurdle than expected. But
Yeah, it
anyways,
may prove to be an impossible feat, but I think
yeah,
I think maybe one day they can.
with modern technology, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways, thank you, Dark, for your shout out calls. Toast, shout out call out, please.
My shout out? It's HoloFest. Good times all around.
All right.
Best HoloLive concert to date, and this is the third one. Their tech keeps improving, and there's more members, so it keeps getting longer. Ticket price definitely worth the price, I guess. Maybe, probably.
how much were
Yeah,
the tickets?
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't want to look.
You buy?
You don't want to.
Okay.
Don't ask. When
Honest,
somebody no, seriously, when somebody says like I don't want to look at it, it's a good sign. You don't want to ask.
it was like
You
what?
don't want to ask.
All let me check. It was
I
like
respect Toast privacy. Is
50. It was
how
50 a day, right?
50 a day. Okay.
Around 50 a day, so
To be
both
fair,
days
that's like
100.
That's
that's
not.
like cheaper than some
Yeah, for
conventions that are like
yeah.
shittier. To be fair.
That's what without tax. Whatever. I don't
Yeah.
want to look anymore. Was it worth it? Yes. Am I gonna regret it? No, not really. But I'm not gonna look at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
That's understandable. And call out.
I don't know. I guess that
Thought I'm accidentally erasing Luna.
that's pretty funny. I'm not gonna call that out. That's hilarious. I will call them out. The removing Rusia from the picture.
I
The
mean,
picture,
they were gonna do that.
the picture on the frame on at the expo. That's just sad.
It has
Like
to.
like uh,
Or
like the
had to
act
have
like
gone
the
down.
actual expo at the holograph office. Kind of sad, but I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Again, it's it
Also
happens.
for Ayame getting shafted. God damn it.
All right. Well, thank you, Toast, for your shout out and call out. And I guess my shout out and call out. My shout out is again just the weather being slightly better, so I can actually freaking run outside without worrying over slipping over the ice or whatever. And my
Why are you running on ice? Walk in the
well, I'm
snow.
trying not to run on ice is the big
Just
thing.
walk on the snow.
Yeah.
Walk on the
Well,
grass.
there was only ice on the sidewalk. Is the it
Why
was
don't
the
you walk on
problem.
the grass?
Sometimes there isn't, or
Don't you know
it's
that
either it's either
walking in snow is better cardio than walking on ice?
yeah, but it's a little bit harder to run on sometimes. But I do try to do it, but it's like sometimes it's just ice or like the entire like grassy area is like all wet and puddles and stuff like that. So, anyways, the call out I wanted to make was this one. I rant more about translation than perhaps should be my allotted privilege at times, but there was this one. What is it? It was J Novel Club. Where is this? Yeah, J Novel Club had um a manga they were translating, or they're licensing, and they're about to translate something called like I think
Gushing
uh,
Grannies, was that the one?
no. What the fuck? It was like, what was the Japanese title? It was like Maho Shoujo ni Akogarete. It's something like that. And it was like, uh, it's like I adore magical girls, but or something like that is sort of how the title should go. And it
You
was,
adore magical girls as butt? What?
but adore magical girls, comma, but.
Oh, never mind.
um, but then it got localized into gushing over magical girls, which is like it's a very
Doesn't
it's
that is a completely different meaning.
it's well, I mean, even if you were to strain it to have a similar meaning, it's a very different tone as well. It's a very like it's very like Disney kids, like it's very like that's so Raven kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like don't like I don't know whether it's Crunchyroll to blame or whoever it is, but I really dislike this recent trend of like making every translation sound like it's from like some, again, like Nickelodeon like series or something like that. Just you don't need to do that. You don't need to make everything sound like wow, blah 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 blah. Like like you're trying to jam it into this freaking like, American, you know, like
The only thing I
15-year-old
hear
perspective as hard as possible.
is like
Yes?
seeing the recent fucking is it the Nintendo Direct with the Kirby game
Mhm.
and like that style of narrator reading that fucking title.
Oh yeah.
If you
Yeah.
haven't, I suggest you go listen to that guy
No,
because
I've heard it. I've heard
that
it. Yeah.
trailer
Gushing
fucking
over
blows.
magical girls.
Yeah, I just hate this tone and the fact that like, all the translators are just all the quote unquote official translators are just using it these days. Just, it says a lot about the industry and, I'm just very tired of it. But yeah, anyways, that was my shout out and call out. And with that, we are finally done with the podcast for today. Cause Costa said, do they have font choices? I'm sick of the same font. Yeah, it's still Comic Sans stuff. Yeah, don't you worry. It's still the same like meme Comic Sans, like ooh, like oh wow, or like I'm gonna use some random internet slang or whatever, whatever. Anyways, again, that's the end of our college shoutouts section. And with that, this was our last review episode of the winter
Ever.
2022 ever. Yeah, it's done. 2022 is over, but we are finally done with the winter 2022 season reviews. Again, thank you all for partaking in it. And next episode again is going to be our preview show for the spring 2022 stuff. The usual thumbs up, thumbs down. Talk about what's going to be hype. We're going to do that, and we're going to jump right into the spring 2022 reviews afterwards. We should have it pretty well timed this time, right? Again, most series right now are like episode 10 or 11 or something like that. So right after previews, we should be able to get into the anime series without much fuss, without much fear of, like, oh, this series hasn't come out yet or anything like that. We should be able to get into there. So uh, look look out for that. Look forward to that. And if you like what we do, we stream our podcast recording live every other Saturday, starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. That's with the numeral 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. So check us out here. You can check out our recordings on the Twitch VOD/highlights section, as well as on our YouTube channel, 4PlayerAnimecast. So whichever format you please. We have also our social media where you can check us out on our latest updates and news on Facebook, 4PlayerAnimecast, as well as on Twitter, handle at 4PPAnimecast. Again, all with the numeral 4. And we'll see you next time.